Welcome to Breakfast Central here on News Central on a Thursday morning. It feels really good because we've decided to indeed have a coalition of some sort to ensure that we are back on the air and not just coming back, but of course talking about the biggest stories that's indeed making the rounds in town. Well, I'm Joe Hansen and I'm saying good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central.
Well, this is not the ADC, this is the BFC, Breakfast Central. Thank you for starting your morning with us. Remember that you can engage on our social media platforms at News Central TV. And at some point, we'll open the phone lines when we're reviewing the papers, and you can call in and drop your thoughts. I am Olive Emodi.
This is not ADC, this is BSC.
BFC.
Now, Olive, you're highly intelligent.
Thank you.
And your body is cold. Perhaps, do you use high sense products as your AC? Because your sense is very high. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central. Yes, like Joe said, we have a lot for you today.
Yes,
I mean, quite a lot happened yesterday, and we'll be dissecting, we'll be chopping up details, analysis, we'll be permutating like we're going into a football game as we inch towards 2027. So many things happening on the Nigerian political scene, earthquaking moves, and a few surprises too. So we'll look into it and also take the reactions from the ruling All Progressive Congress to see if they're perturbed.
Yeah. Coalition. That has been the conversation for over a year. The suspicions of a likely and a possible coalition, those who are for, those who are against, but it would seem that all the speculations will now be put to rest as there is an official coalition. Very surprising, however, that it's the ADC again. A while ago, we had all thought it was going to be SDC, but now SDC has been shoved aside, and ADC, in Joe's words, is the golden, how do you call it? Golden bride.
Yeah,
the chosen pile.
Yes. So you had the SDP.
SDP, yes. The SDP was the initial suspicion. NNPP yes. First. There was a suspicion that there was going to be NNPP in some measure. Then after a while, it looked like the NNPP wasn't really NNPP.
But I wonder, you know, the NNPP has not declared allegiance yet, so I wonder whether they are not moving to the APC. But it's close, it's looking more likely given APC. No, yes, from our own analysis.
Well, it's good. Maybe we can also take it to the drawing board and break it down, because it's going to be a two-horse race. But on the other side, on the flip side, it's not just going to be a two-horse race. It's going to be a horse, one of the horses that has the biggest supporters, all groomed in one. But there's also a question, and the question simply is, those who are moving to the ADC, are they going to resign? We've seen the former Senate President resign. I'm talking about David Mark, and he has taken the position of course, the national chairman, the acting national chairman of the ADC. Are others going to resign? There are rumors that it's going to be a clear-cut case of copy and paste with what we've seen from the FCT minister, the current FCT minister, which is FCT minister
serving in an APC government.
Serving in the PDP, but of course is ensuring that the APC is successful. Like he has said, he said, I'm going to give my vote. And he's going to give his vote. So
I guess it depends on the appointments. I guess if you're going to hold a sensitive position like acting national chairman, if you're going to be a principal officer of the ADC, I think the best thing you could do is to resign. But if you're just an ordinary member, you're a supporter of the coalition, I don't think it's necessary.
Or maybe the fact that they are interim, for example, even the assistant national chairmanship of Rauf Aregbesola, some people kicked against it. So they are all acting, they're not permanent. But the other thing that we've seen is how many people have reacted to this and saying it feels like putting old wine in new wine skin, because these are the same people who have had different chances at
in the very recent past.
Election really threw that at most of them, because in an open letter, Deji Adeyanju had asked him to ignore what people would say and he should please join the ADC. And he had said he did not commit crime with all these people and began to name all of them.
You know, I like that story.
When this person did this, I was not there. When this person did that, he called names and called specific.
So the twins.
It was like he was blasting everybody, basically trying to say all of them have dirty hands and he was not a part of it. And he's with the people and not, these politicians.
Reminds me of when Dr. Obi Ezekwesili threw a hat in the presidential race. It was Buhari and Atiku then are the major contenders. And she said, look, this is, the tickets should be called Butiku. because they are both Siamese twins of hunger, of bad governance and all of that. So there's, you put strange bedfellows together just because of getting political power. Would it have repercussions? Do we want to do a Tinubu or just Tinubu out and anyone? Are we careful? Would we give them more scrutiny, like what happened, anyone but Jonathan?
I was about to mention that we made this mistake before, because that was the same thing the second tenure, when President Goodluck Jonathan was running, and they said anybody but Jonathan. They also did the same thing at a point to, that was what brought Buhari in, because if maybe and many people have held this school of thought, that if the candidate was a northern president, maybe Buhari wouldn't have gotten it. If it was anybody else, but it was a situation of anybody but Jonathan. And then Buhari came into power, and look at what has happened.
But Joe, do we have any other options apart from, okay, now we've seen that these are former players. Everyone has their credentials. They've been part and parcel of governance that has led us to where we are today. So can we do a Showore and, just ignore everybody there? We know these guys have the financial muscle, but there are lots of Nigerians that are not part of that political elite class that can deliver. Are we going to see a third force perhaps emerge?
I don't see any. I don't know.
Or is this it?
I don't see any
the
third
way
force
it looks
personally.
currently, there wouldn't be any. In short, Benga, what we're seeing now...
Is Showore not a third force?
Not at all. I mean, Showore is an outspoken person. He has a lot of support behind him, but in terms of being that third force that would upset...
Like what Peter Obi did.
So what Peter Obi did. So does he have the clout? Does he have the muscle? He may have it to a certain degree in terms of his movement and so on. But when it comes to translating it to polls, that's where, I mean, we saw when he decided to also join the race, and we also saw
the results.
What happened in terms of the results. People had mocked and said, oh, maybe it was just your family members who came in and then supported you. But let's be factual with this. There are so many layers we can discuss with this coalition, so many, and I think that's exactly what we're going to do today. We'll look at it from different angles. One of the angles I'm interested in is the fact that the names that are bandied, the names that are put in terms of those who were gathered there yesterday, continues to show a repetition of the same people who have ruled the country one way or the other in the past 4 decades.
And who have been part of the ruling party also.
Exactly. And these same caliber of persons are the same people who had joined forces to kick out the PDP when they formed the APC. If you recall, go back as far as 2013, 2014. These same people, you have them who have come together. They're still part of it. Now, there are also rumors that the people who are here are the aggrieved members of the All Progressives Congress.
AKA Bad Belle.
Bad Belle, AKA those who ensured that President People will not get into power. They're the ones who have said, okay, we no go agree. So they've come out and said, let's form our own party. However, if we look at what we see here on the screen, this is a behemoth. Let me use that word of some sort. I'm not happy that, and I'll be honest, I'm not trying to say this in a sarcastic manner, but I think they should have allowed the president to enjoy his trip in St. Lucia. But I think they just decided to say...
You think that this Martin will shake a whole president?
Well, whether you like it or not,
I mean, look, going from your perspective, if I was a political strategist for the APC, I think what you just said now, that look, it looks more like it's a personal vendetta than saving Nigeria, and that's the angle the APC strategists will use, because if ordinary Nigerians just open their eyes and go down memory lane, they will see exactly what you're saying. And it's the plain truth.
I can't wait for the...
They were all part and parcel.
I can't wait for the party...
government.
I can't wait for the party constitution to also come out, because, and let me also mention, guys, they say, for many people, for the fact that Mr. Peter Obi, who has been touted as one of the most,
popular?
The saint, let's put it that way, in the Nigerian political space, for him to agree to join the coalition, then Nigerians are demanding, let's get to see what the party stands for.
So let me just correct that. You called him a saint. I think him and his followers will say he's not a saint, but he's not a thief.
No, when we use the word saint in the political
Hello, I think they are very careful about referring to him as saint.
I'm not the one who calls him a saint. A lot of people call him a saint in the political text. The reason why is because they say you cannot really pinpoint or hold him. Okay, if we mention some names here, you could point to some scandal. Some scandals.
And of course, the Nollywood actor, famous Nollywood actor, Saint Obi. Yeah, that's why the name Saint.
Wow, you are very dry.
Bigger.
Wow.
Anyway, so looking at this, there's so many layers, like I said, to discuss on this. You have the aggrieved party members who have come together. One thing that nobody is talking about is what would be the tenets that would indeed guide this coalition.
It's small now. They've announced coalition
exactly.
first. Eventually,
you walk before you run.
And for people to see Mr. Peter Obi agreeing to shake hands with them, some people are saying, okay, I can be rest assured.
I mean, his presence alone means that they have crossed that bridge.
Exactly. That a lot of people are saying, I can be rest assured. I mean, take a look at another. You had LP members all over the place.
Yeah, I just spotted the senator representative.
Even the former LP member, Kenneth Okonkwo, who left the party at some point because of his disagreement with the leadership style of Peter Obi. I watched an interview yesterday where he was being asked if Peter Obi emerges as a presidential candidate of this new coalition, if he will support. He said, it's not about the person, it's about the common goal. Now it's about the party, everybody coming together, and whoever it is that is nominated as the presidential candidate, that he will throw his support behind that person. Another thing to point out with the ADC is the fact that I have also seen some people, especially those in the ruling party, criticizing Peter Obi and the obedience, because they say the same people that you criticize during the elections, you are now dining with them.
It's for political expediency. It's not. I mean, politics is not. They're not saints.
So that's the thing. They say
that's
the
where
person,
the problem comes in.
Yeah, that the person you've painted as a person who doesn't frolic with the ones who have tainted hands is now having to break bread with them because of political reasons.
Interesting.
I mean, that's one of the arguments that
never said it was a monk or
a
saint. That's the game of politics. But there's another angle I want us to look at. Is it, can we say it's home run now, or is still early days? Because I wanted to know why they chose the ADC as their special purpose vehicle to drive them to the promised land. And I also want to know what happens with the existing crisis in their various political parties. Some of them are PDP, some of them are APC, some of them are PDP, LP. Yes, individuals like Mr. Aburi and Lamidi Apapa. Have you cut them off? And is there any way, hope there won't be any way for them to foment trouble in the new arrangement? Can they still throw spanners in the works of the ADC from their vantage point? Or you've cut off the umbilical cord?
Binga. If you look at this, I mean, sometimes if you love adventures, you watch adventure movies, and it has to do with the kings plotting against each other, you would see you see a very strong plot here. There are many of them, but let's just pick one with what you've asked. You recall, I did say earlier that the FCT minister is one person who is a PDP card-carrying member, but is also fully supportive of the APC. So we're going to see a case whereby I don't think everybody who's supporting the coalition are going to leave their party. They will use that same work, that same textbook, remain in their parties, irrespective of whether it's the PDP, it's the APC, it's the Labour Party.
And will the party tolerate it?
Sorry?
But will their parties tolerate it? Because the party members are already...
Why not?
So that's what I said. That's why I said
you've not resigned.
If you love adventure, you see what will happen. Somebody has set a precedent. And guess what? The person did set the precedence from the local government level. It's at the federal government level, where the AGF is also there, and he's the FCT minister and so on. So they're also going to use that in the same political party space and say, come on. And they would own up and say, I'm supporting the ADC, for example. You can't take them out because
they have a right
I have not resigned.
Yeah.
All right. I want to go back to
so
this
a lot of dynamics.
Shori that we mentioned. Yes,
Okay.
I agree that Shori has a lot of influence. He does have a lot of influence. I mean, anytime we have Shori, you would see the responses. He has a huge following. We can't, downplay that. But with this ADC, it feels like there's a lot more forces at play, a lot of people who have huge followings. In response, the Nigerian Tribune responded, published the response of Showore to Deji Adeyanju. And I wanted to, the data I was talking about, I went to look for it so that I can read it out to you. He says, I did not join Atiku Abubakar in looting the Nigerian customs dry. I did not join David Mark when he stole funds meant to fix our telephones and later helped to crush our democratic hopes on June 12th. I did not join Abubakar Malemi's SAN in violating human rights and looting the treasury under Muhammadu Buhari's watch. I did not join Nasir El-Rufai. This one is a lot stronger. I don't know if I can read this one. I did not join Peter Obi at the tin can port while he declared goods for Abacha when the same Abacha that was dismantling Nigeria brick by brick. I did not join Sanusi, Sule Lamido and the SDP traitors who sold out MKO Abiola and the will of the Nigerian people. I did not join Chibike Rotimi Amechi while he gambled away River State funds and abandoned the mini rail project already paid for. I have never joined an armed robbery gang. I have never pledged allegiance to any cult, no matter how powerful, popular or fanciful. I have only one allegiance: to the oppressed, the disenfranchised, the cheated, the silenced. I will only join those ready and willing to end this national nightmare created by these characters listed above. Let it be known, I stand with a vanguard of justice, a coalition of truth, a revolutionary team to restore the dignity of Nigerians. Nigeria must be free from these evildoers. That is the report from the Nigerian Tribune of what Showore has said.
Yeah, I mean, it's on his X. You can find that on his X page as well. Binga, you want to say something?
Very strongly worded, and a lot of Nigerians will see reason to it. But they will also say, look, we're looking for a political expediency here. We're being pragmatic. This is how they play the game. So we'll play the game. I'll keep my cards close to myself. And they would argue that, when we get there, we'll begin to reform and purge the system. But it's never that easy. That's why maybe a third force might emerge. Maybe not through Showore, but that thinking. So look, these are the same old, new bottle, old wine, and let's do away with this guys that have been part of a system. Let's go for something fresh. Yes. I mean,
I'm going to play it from a different angle, and I'm going to say this. Should a third force emerge, who will be in that third force?
I mean, there are Nigerians in the private sector. There are Nigerians that have done extremely well. Look, if they bring an Okonjo-Iweala to be the flag
you think she stands a chance against
a third?
I'm actually glad that you mentioned
why won't people?
Because, and you raised an angle that came to mind when you also mentioned Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, bring her heart in the
You will see Dr. Obi Ezekwesili in this coalition.
I mean, unfortunately.
Let me say it now. You
and it breaks my heart to say that.
We'll have a
I don't know if we're yet at the point where Nigeria is ready to embrace the leadership of women. And if you look at it, if you check, for example, in the cases of governors, people running for governors, people running for, very at the top level of governance.
So very few women.
I mean, America has its own fair share. See what happened when Hillary Clinton was running. But at least you see them getting to the position
very
of being
close.
Like key figures. We are still very far from there. I hope that in the nearest future we can be able to surmount that, because I believe that there are women who are equipped to be able to do the
Absolutely.
job. Because when you bring this up
we
now,
should also give it a try. Since 1960, look at where the men.
I understand. See, both of you have been watching you.
Look at where the men
are you talking about
driven us to?
No, I'm just saying.
Okay,
no, what I said is,
maybe not
I
the presidency.
don't feel like Nigerians are ready. I think it's important that women women take role of leadership and responsibility, even at the topmost level of leadership.
Okay.
It's just unfortunate that I don't think Nigeria is ready for that. Nigeria will push back on it, because I've seen, if you look at some of the people who have led in certain key roles and the way that they have acted, and when one woman maybe does something, steps out, any small thing they will mention, ministry.
I mean, look, Kemi Adeosun was doing a fantastic job as Minister of Finance, and because of some NYSC discrepancy, which other people, like the then Minister of Communication, Mr. Shitu, he said during his, I don't know what he didn't do his national service, but he said,
you had the River State.
Yes, and things like that. But if it's a woman, they will have a way to force you out.
Very quick to just, and then they'll make it an example. See, this time we gave a woman. I'm hoping that more women will rise and be involved in political conversations, join political parties, be concerned. You can't cause a change from standing on the sidewalk. You can't actually influence positive change from just being on the side and, you know, not really wanting
and
to
commenting on
interested.
blogs.
Yes, that's not the kind of change we can make. But let's still talk about the ADC and what happened. They were scheduled to have their coalition event at the Wells Carlton Hotel in Asokoro, Abuja. Dele Momodu posted a screenshot of the message that the hotel sent to them 24 hours before the event happened. And it was a message saying that due to certain internal compliance issues, they will not be able to have their events there. Of course, the tongues have started to wag with people believing that forces that be have tried to influence or ensure that, you know, they prevent the ADC from having
Maybe they thought
meeting.
there will be scuffle or they will scatter the place.
So you did not do your due diligence.
But let's ask the
And it's
convener
24
of
hours.
Hotels Expo.
Please go ahead.
Mr.
Talk to
Convener,
us.
please. As a hotelier.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
As a hospitality
Thank you so
expert.
much for the
Thank you very
privilege
much.
to talk
Correction.
on this issue. So, the case is not far-fetched. When it comes to a political situation like this, and you own a business, bear in mind that I do not know who the owner of the hotel simply is. We don't know who they are. But one thing we know for sure is that you might want to take a lot of things into cognizance. One, you are in the FCT, and we know how politicking simply is. It may have an adverse effect on your business.
You might just go and look at your file.
Exactly, or it may have a negative impact.
This man has
So
not
as a
paid land
business
use
owner,
charges.
if I were the one, you would think twice, okay, how do I do it? Secondly, I'm not linking this to the reason, but I'm just stating it for obvious reasons. It may be that also some of the people who invest.
Look at the
in
hotel, very nice.
Yeah, very nice, very beautiful. Some of the people who invest in these businesses, if you check the back, they also are politicians. So it could also be, we don't know. We're just saying.
True.
We're just saying. We're just alleging.
I mean, these are very
The
valid
witch died,
arguments.
the baby cried. The witch died in the night, the baby cried. It's two and two that
It
people
could
have
also
to
be
do
that
that.
some of the investors have a link or a tie with
the APC.
the current ruling party. So they've simply said, it's just a phone call. Hey, who are you? Why would you do that? I don't want to see that. If that happens, just have in mind that we're going to, and the first thing you do is you have to save yourself. So for these reasons, one, for business, you have to look at it carefully. Two, there are companies who don't want to have any affiliation with. If I were the one, I wouldn't want to have. I mean, carefully, in case you do not know, there's some hotels that don't accept any religious, you know, events.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, they don't. They don't, because they have this policy that if a religious event comes there, it means that somebody who worships, you know, a certain god and so on can also come there and say, well, after all. So they just say, you know, anything religious gathering,
we won't take.
We don't want it. If you have social, that's fine, but religious, no, we don't want.
Does that not fall in the category of religious discrimination?
Not really. For
I mean,
some,
since you're not accepting any.
If you're not accepting
It's not
any, it's just fine. You just leave it, and it's not
Secular.
it's just a personal thing for some organizations.
Very well
So
said.
the truth is
I
that
mean,
we
let's thank Mr. Convener here
Thank you,
for his
Mr.
brilliant
Convener.
response.
For Mr. Convener, I think we're at one point, and we agree with you that hotels can decide the principles and policies that guide their businesses. However, there's also the role that integrity plays in all of this. If you've given,
And
if
timing
you've hold
too,
on,
timing.
exactly, and that's where the integrity comes in. If you've given a client your word that you're going to do this thing, if you have to back out last minute, how willing are you to bend backward? Right? I think a better thing to have done would have been for them, and I hope that it serves as a learning curve, not just for the Wells Carlton, but for other hotels and businesses, that when clients come to you, understand what your policies are, have somebody who does your internal checks, that will go and do the research, so you know if you're going to accept it or not, so that you accept it within reasonable time, because these are the same hotels that they'll tell you you cannot cancel booking 24 hours. If I'm going on holiday and I book a hotel, I know that if something happens, that they hold me at the airport or my visa had not come out, and maybe for some reason I decided to make one last minute thing 24 hours before my money, OT law, they won't cancel it. Yeah. So if they have those principles and those policies when it comes to individuals and comes to running their businesses, I think it's only fair that you take that into consideration. If you knew you were going to cancel, you should have done that way earlier.
And not
because
accept
now it now
in
looks,
the first place.
Yes, don't accept. Or if you accept, give them considerable time to find a new place and get someone else. There have been situations where I've been called to MC an event, and for some reason something came up and I couldn't. I will bend over backwards to get them a suitable representative that I know will do it, you know, just to ensure that my clients are not stranded. And I think that's what the hotel should have done.
Well,
24 hours was too short.
In this, I agree with you 100%. But like I've said, either of those two reasons. One, let's not have any political affiliation because we are in the Federal Capital Territory in code, so we do not fall under the watch eye of, you know, certain persons who have power. Secondly, it could be that part of some of our investors are currently, you know, with the ruling party and they don't want any affiliation with another party. And don't forget too, guys, the same Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, same Yar'Adua Center has played role to a similar incident in the spate of 7 days. Remember the PDP NEC meeting?
They had to move there.
Cancelled. They moved to where?
Yar'Adua Center.
Yesterday, same thing cancelled. They moved to the same center. So it seems like maybe they should just make that place, the center, a place
instead of wasting their time with hotels.
You know, the good thing is that this happened in Abuja. Imagine that it happened in, well, Lagos, typically a number of the major events happen either in Lekki, VI, or Ikeja. In Abuja, wherever they are moving you to another place, it's like 10 minutes drive,
exactly.
and you're good to go. It was in Lagos.
Because that crowd, that number of people, I wonder how they were able to circulate the information quickly.
Or the people at the venue to say, are you here for this event? Sorry, we moved. You know, it would have caused a logistical nightmare, but eventually it happened because when politicians said they had to do something, they will do it. And I hope that that same resilience and doggedness is how they bring, you know, is what they bring to leading Nigeria to ensure that when one way looks like it's not working, they find another way to make life better for the people of Nigeria. But let's move away from the ADC, as that will form the core of our conversation today, to talk about Nigeria's education system. A young man made a video where he complained bitterly of something. He talked about having passed through a certain institution and basically just decrying the state of Nigeria's education system, asking for some measure of an overhaul. Let's take a look at the video, then when we'll come back, we'll discuss it.
We have a lot of universities and polytechnic, yet we are not producing anything. See, faculty of engineering here, they are not producing anything. I was in this faculty some time ago when the faculty generator had issues. None of the professors of mechanical engineering, petroleum, none of them could fix it. They had to look like my question, why is the faculty of engineering if just the power plants, the diesel power plants had faults and could not be fixed? So you can say it's very ineffective. Unibe has about 77,000 students, of which a good number of them the faculty of agric. You understand? But yet, food is expensive in Benin, even in science school especially. Why? Because they are not manufacturing food. If I'm president of this country, first thing first, I'm very much concerned about practicality, functionality of institutions of learning. All schools will close by 12. I'm talking about primary and secondary school now. You close by 12, just go and learn work. You go to school from 7 to 12, you close by 12 and go and do something with your hands. Theory, good grades does not build a country. It's productivity that builds a country. You understand? It's when you start producing, you can start doing research to back up and make better what you're already producing. If you're not manufacturing anything, there's no need for research centers. I don't even, all the research centers in Nigeria, what are they doing? We are not solving our own problems. What are you researching on? My own opinion. As somebody who is still learned, but more of a realist. What is your opinion about the educational sector of this country? How effective is it in your state? Drop it below in the comment section.
I support that 100%. I support it.
I mean, it's a mixture for me.
Yes, for me, it's a mixture, actually.
I suppose,
because number one, I mean, you don't, there's a reason why people go to universities, and there's a reason why they study education. There's sociology education, there's education as a course, so that you can be a professional lecturer and teacher. Those lecturers there are not meant to be fixing.
Thank you very much.
Generator,
that's what I wanted to highlight.
It doesn't mean that they don't know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
So Newton's
academia.
I mean, Newton, E equals MC squared, all these theories, theory of relativity, they started from theory before you can practicalize. It's like the egg before the chicken. So you can't, you can't form nothing, you can't form something out of nothing. It has to be laid down rules. That's why you have formulas and procedures before you could go ahead and fix this. And there are different departments. There are people that are in charge of fixing these things when they go wrong. And those people fixing it are also, there's a theory behind that is written somewhere. That's why we have textbooks. So I don't understand. I understand the use of vocational work and handwork and the importance of it and why there should be a healthy mix. But you can't just totally dismiss theory and the lecturers and say they don't know anything because they can't fix
Excuse me, sir.
Let's hear.
He didn't dismiss it. He said, and I would quote, he would allow them go to school from morning, he close, and then go.
That's for the students.
I agree.
He said he couldn't fix the generator.
Why would an engineering department not be able to fix?
Okay, you're a broadcaster. Can you fix the satellite?
No, hold on. No, hold on. No, I'm coming. I'm going to use our industry. In the media, it's divided into sections. We are broadcasters. We are anchors. We are producers. If you tell me, can you produce? And I tell you no, then you know I have a problem.
No, but I don't think it's the broadcasters you should use as example.
No, I'm just using one. He just highlighted one. So I just followed through.
Don't compare apples and oranges.
Exactly. Use the professors teaching mass communication. How many of them can do what we're doing here?
The professors teaching mass communication have an idea and a knowledge of what is done. They understand what is called show prep.
But if you put them in front of camera,
yes, exactly.
Hold on. You will put them in front of the camera. Please take note what I'm trying to say. You put them in front of, if you bring a professor here to present, granted, he may not be slick and smooth like expecting to be, but he can present. Fact. Fact.
So those professors to understand the theory behind if a spark plug needs to be changed, the professors know that the problem is from the spark plug. So,
yes, you should know.
So I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
Why am I teaching mechanical engineering?
But I need you to join engineers.
I disagree
and
with
fix.
That because I feel like
if I majored in engineering, I should be able to know. For instance, if this is we do have our masts. I expect that the guys in technical or engineering understand everything that has to do with.
I would like to see you climb that mast.
I don't agree with that argument because I feel that even in the education in academia, these professors, they are in the academic space. They are academic, they are the academic professionals, right? It's why when you go through the university, there's a year for internship because you've learned the theory. You then go do your internship with the people who will teach you the practical of it. So I don't think I agree with his sentiment, but not his analogy of, because the generators fault, one of the professors could fix it. I don't think it's professors' responsibility to fix the generators.
Not just professors.
Right? He said,
okay, the professors of political science. I mean, it applies to political science.
It's just like saying, I don't even know if the lecturers in medical school can perform surgery, a number of them. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say. So I don't know that a lecturer who's teaching a course in 300 level, somebody will have an emergency and immediately
their focus is on transfer of knowledge, academia.
So they transfer the knowledge.
Respect
then
them
you go to your internship, and in your internship, you get practical, your housemanship, practical hands-on knowledge on the thing that you learned in the classroom, the theoretical.
Olive, you've said it all. July-born people are so smart.
I think you guys have still not gotten it. And
it's fine. Tomorrow
we can agree to disagree.
No, let me explain it. One, the young man did not throw away the baby with the bathwater by saying that there shouldn't be lecturers or those who teach. He's not saying that.
No, we agree with that.
You know, let's be honest.
Well, he's dissing them because they can't fix generators.
That's what we are dealing with.
It's enough to diss them. I would diss them. I know why I would diss them. Let's come down to it. He has made a point here, and I think we should look at it. It's the same point that the followers...
How is he even sure that they can't fix generators?
I'm coming. Developing nations. Let's take China, for example. Let's go and study China. Take your time, read about China.
I think they are not developed.
Far back as at when I was in JSS 3, I recall, quite frankly, my late in-law told me I would send you to China once you're done with your junior WAEC. And I said, okay, I'm good. And he showed me back then pictures because, of course, videos and camera phones were in that, clear. And then he said, look at pictures. China has a system whereby if the students go to school, they learn this theory, they learn everything, they have time to go and do the practical. I push this to you.
I think we are all saying the same thing.
It's the same thing he's saying.
We are all saying the same thing. The only thing we and I are saying is the analogy of generators spoiling. Professors could not fix it. We think it's a flawed analogy. Other than that, we think it's great for them to learn theory and practical. I'm 100% in support of that. It's just the analogy of sort of throwing a diss at the professor.
What do you think about Introtech? We all did Introtech in school.
So that is where we all need to have time and discuss this. our educational system, the way it's structured, is it benefiting you and I?
It was meant to be,
the answer is no. Let's
coding,
trying to
introduction to technology,
but
we're using woodwork.
Binga.
They wanted to turn us to carpenter.
I went to, they said it's compulsory, you must pass computer science. Primary school is compulsory. So parents had to pay extra. Guess what? A school of then, I think we're about 110, or if I'm right, maybe 80 or something, one computer, one. One. And when I come,
at least it's better than those that are using stone for mouse.
Say, this is a mouse. What is this? A mouse. Go back to your class. You've learned.
But that's your generation. Things have changed now. You know, we are not in the same generation. But
we were just.
I'm just saying. And the same still applies today. How many schools have computers?
Okay, one house. Let's come back now and share what our top story is. But you can tell us your thoughts, especially regarding the argument about the young man's
going to be sure on this topic.
Regarding education.
I'm sure on this
Go
topic.
on
Let's do
YouTube,
practical.
News Central TV Live, and drop your comments in the chat box, and we will take it before the show ends.
Mr. Speaker, I think let us evict Johansson from this.
The top stories are.
I'm gone. Practical.
Morning, opposition coalition adopts ADC that will form the core of our conversation today. Abuja Hotel backs out, blocks ADC coalition event. We joined this morning by Dele Momodu, who will explore and explain what exactly is going on. Reps reject Senate hospital bill. Sagir Ibrahim brings us more in a report. A Constitutional Review Committee to commence hearing the House Committee is set to hold a zonal public hearing on the Constitution. We reviewed the newspaper front pages this morning as well and opened the phone lines for you to call in and share your thoughts. A major political development that could reshape Nigeria's opposition landscape ahead of the 2027 general elections has taken place in the nation's capital city of Abuja. The African Democratic Congress, or ADC, has been adopted as the official platform for a new opposition coalition. The move announced yesterday has sparked a flurry of reactions across the country's political spectrum.
Labour Party, SDP, and even dissatisfied members of the People's Democratic Party, who are members of the new coalition, say the move is aimed at rescuing Nigeria from one-party dominance. But with the PDP still running from internal divisions and electoral setbacks, may I ask, what does this mean for Nigeria's oldest opposition party? Is this the beginning of a new political realignment? Joining us this morning on Breakfast Central is the former special advisor to President Goodluck Jonathan and a member of the People's Democratic Party, Comrade Jude Imagwe. A warm welcome to you, Comrade, and thanks for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
I mean, the obvious first salvo would be, what do you make of the coalition, the meeting yesterday, and the personalities involved? Do you think they're strong enough to give the current ruling party, the All Progressive Congress, a run for their money in the 2027 presidential elections?
Yeah, thank you again. Good morning, Nigerians. I feel first, yeah, everybody have a right to pursue their political alignment and political realignment and political interests. Ambition can be chased on any platform, but yes, there is an offshoot of a coalition, but again, that does not in any way affect the People's Democratic Party as a party. And the opposition party, the leading political party, which is the APC, may have a sense of concern because every coalition, every assembly, and every coming together of political interests is usually targeted at wresting power from the government in power, which as it stands today is the APC, the positioned party. But again, it is of great concern where we see that every time an election cycle is close to, that is when you find persons of characters come together to begin to pursue political conversation. I am particularly concerned, but why I will not be so heavy with referring to certain persons is because of the coalition. There are a certain number of faces I have strong respect, either by culture, by persons, or by our tradition. I have a very great respect for certain persons, the likes of Senator David Mark. That is why I will just respect the gathering and allow the gathering to have the nomenclature it wants to hold. But to say that it is painful that our politicians only feel, particularly those that have designed themselves as leaders, actors, political actors, only feel that it is only when there is an electoral desperation that people can come together to begin to pursue, not for the Nigerian people, but to pursue for the actualization of their own interests. Jettisoning the fact that there are several issues that have taken a very strong negative effect on the Nigerian masses, ranging from General Muhammadu Buhari's administration from 2015 up until 2023, and with again the kickstarting of President Tinubu's administration. These persons had remained silent, these persons had been muted, these persons had gone on sabbatical, these persons had gone on self-exile, but have always considered themselves electoral fit, with electoral competency and electoral value, to always resurface close to elections. It is worrisome. It is worrisome in the sense that we again may be running towards the same manner at which the unholy alliance, the unholy matrimony that gave birth to APC on February 6, 2013, hurriedly assembled a party whose ideology was never the same. Members, it was political party that came together. But in this instance today, it is not political party, because I am 100% certain that the People's Democratic Party as a party is not part of that coalition. It's individuals that feels that they have a right which cannot be restricted, which can also not be limited and cannot be taken from them, have a right to leave a platform, to leave a party, to go into another place, to choose to pursue their ambition. That is what they are doing. But again, it's unfortunate. As unfortunate as it is the fact that you have a house, some amongst them have these characteristics of leaving political party to political party just for the sole purpose of pursuing a desperate ambition. Some are stuck in trades, in the sense that they wake up when they see that there is something that want to question the integrity of something, they hurriedly find themselves into women. I asked a clear question to a friend yesterday. Let every one of them, except Peter Obi in that gathering, let every one of them show us under Buhari's administration, when young Nigerians took to the street 2020 to protest the end SARS, where Nigerians were intimidated, brutalized, victimized, subsequently killed under our national flag. How many among those characters tweeted, posted on Facebook, joined in solidarity, or for any reason made statements to condemn that in strong terms, or joined in any protest? So that wasn't their problem. That wasn't their problem. When under Tinubu's administration, young Nigerians stood up and said, end bad government. Not an end to a government, but end bad governance, which means Nigerians have the right, legitimate rights, to challenge the accountability of a government and say we must end bad government, meaning either there is high level of corruption, high-handedness in policy formulation and the rest. These young Nigerians came out. Show me amongst them. Part of it. There had also been killings, kidnapping across the length and breadth of Nigeria. So when it is not about the people, then that see, the people that will form coalition, that will alter the present status quo in the Nigerian governance of executive rascality and policy somersaulting is when the citizens resolve on their own to say, we want to put an end. People cannot, I mean,
Comrade, you've spoken
sorry for cutting you short.
Yeah, you've spoken so passionately about the coalition. You obviously do not approve of it. You've talked about having to address, talk about it with respect because of certain persons, and you called Senator David Mark. What about the principal of the People's Democratic Party, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who has also now become a key part of this coalition? What do you think? I mean, you seem to believe that this doesn't face the People's Democratic Party, but if the lead representative of the party, the principal officer of the party has moved to the coalition, don't you think that that goes to the foundation and shakes the core of the party?
No, I totally disagree with that. I respect Vice President Atiku Abubakar with all sense of respect, humility, and decency. But I'll be very bold today to state that Atiku Abubakar has not shown leadership in PDP for whatever purpose or intent. If there is anybody today that is the highest beneficiary of the People's Democratic Party, is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. To suggest that the same problem he led us into in 2015 is now moving away again from the party. That is, you see, is disheartening, it is painful, and it suggests that I will not for any reason respect his political ideology coming again today and tomorrow. Reasons that in 2015, when my boss, President Goodluck Jonathan, was president and commander-in-chief of this country, of Nigeria, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was among those that led people out of People's Democratic Party. They formed an NPDP and joined in the unholy matrimony that the marriage was not publicly dissolved, but it didn't go well because if you find out, soon as after General Muhammadu Buhari's election, when Senator Bukola Saraki became the Senate President, as against the desire of the coalition, which still brings us to the fact that there are no ideological background in these same things that these people go to see. That ideology is the foundation of any political party. That came up. There was disintegration among them. Every person now began to go their own way. CPC, PDP, NPDP, and the rest. Atiku Abubakar was nowhere in PDP. Certain governors, certain persons, and that is why today they want to say the FCT minister, former governor of Rivers State and the current FCT minister, has a strong political grip on the party. It is to the extent at which people left the party for him to finance, to manage, to grow. In the north then, it was only Governor Dankwambo of Gombe State that was taking care of all the complete 19 northern states PDP structures from party to state. That I can tell clearly because I was in his campaign team for becoming a presidential candidate in 2019. Vice President Atiku Abubakar came back just close to 3, 4, 5 months to that election practice. They gave him the ticket. Governor Wike then of Rivers was a strong advocate of the then governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwa. At the level of Port Harcourt, there were several pressure, and I will continue to respect Governor Wike till tomorrow. He was the only governor when I accompanied Governor Dankwambo to Rivers State to campaign. Because Dankwambo wanted to be the PDP's democratic flag bearer then, contesting the presidential election. Governor Wike was very clear. In his own terms, he said, my support is for Aminu Tambuwa. I will give you everything you want in my state, but this is where I'm standing. Those are politicians, those are leaders. He was clear and emphatic about it. When we got to Port Harcourt, at the level of Port Harcourt, there were several pressures. Governor Wike held his ground, but he said, he's not going to do anything to undermine the primaries, but he's standing with Aminu Tambuwa. And Aminu Tambuwa lost. Atiku became our presidential candidate. In 2019, of an election, clearly that PDP had done better since we were trying to come back from the technical knockout we had in 2015. We did better, but it was not managed. Why wasn't it managed? There was no leadership. Soon as after Supreme Court gave their verdict, Atiku Abubakar left the party again. Governor Wike, the likes of Fayose and the rest, took over again and started sustaining the growth of the party. In 2023, First President Atiku came back again and was still giving the ticket. And today you are saying that you do not have what it takes to have assembled a party together. You could not assemble a party together, a party that has given you ticket back to back twice. You can't assemble a party that has given you ticket back to back twice with two different vice presidential candidates. And the two vice presidential candidates today, they are not even in PDP. The one that came with you in 2019 left PDP and went to the Labour Party. The one that contested an election with you in 2023 has left PDP and gone to APC. What are we talking about? Why should I be happy with such kind of persons? Why should I seek any of such praises about persons that do not feel that a house that you have benefited from, a house that has given you everything, even if the house has a problem, you have a duty. When Vice President Atiku was Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, FCT Minister was a local government chairman. So it means something is practically wrong either in your style of leadership or in your ability to manage people. That is why people around you always come around you and they leave, and you are not consistent in the political party. Or something you need to study on why people around Governor Wike still remains in a party. You don't find him losing his people jumping from political party to political party. But you find people associated to you jumping from party to party. Something is wrong.
All right.
Something is wrong.
Mr. Imagwe, I mean, we get your point. You've highlighted the fact that the former vice president has been moving from one party to the other and still doesn't have a stronghold with the PDP. But my question will be in two parts. The first part is this. The former vice president has not resigned yet from the PDP. And what do you make of the fact that the FCT minister, current FCT minister, has set a precedent whereby he's still a member of the PDP, a card-carrying member, in short, a bona fide one, but he's also supporting the APC. Do you worry that we're going to start seeing the same train of thoughts and actions, especially with this coalition, where even the vice president will remain with the PDP, former vice president, I beg your pardon, will remain with the PDP, but will still give his full support to the ADC, and the same would be done by other political party members? Is there any fear of that?
My brother, let me tell you two things. The first is on the table of leadership, there is an ideological direction. In that coalition today, 95% of persons there are from different ideological backgrounds. Some that was not in support of
Okay. Network challenges there. We do have a frozen screen. Hopefully we're able to get your network back up, and hopefully you join us again.
I think that was a very important question that you asked him, because I'm seeing the post by Honorable Aliyu Abubakar Tanimo, who he says if Honorable Minister Wike can stay in PDP and work for the APC, then we can also stay in the PDP and join the platform of the coalition ADC. There's a flyer that was posted.
Yeah, the president has been set, like you said.
Like I said, once you set the precedent, it will become a standard.
Yeah, so...
But I like the way the comrade spoke.
I mean,
in his words, because he was part and parcel. He lived through everything, witnessed it as a bona fide member of the People's Democratic Party, and it's like, you that did X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I think Comrade is back. So
all right, Comrade,
let him answer you.
Comrade Imagwe, please go ahead if you could start your response to the questions asked earlier.
Yeah, what I have said is clearly these are two different instances. There are two different instances in the sense that the present FCT minister said it is swears and up to date as it stands has not been refuted or denied or debunked, that he officially communicated the People's Democratic Party before he took the job with the APC-led administration. That is for the party leadership to deal with. The second concern is the fact that I do not think anything would have suggested positive. I do not think that anything would have suggested right, even in the elementary component of it, to have seen Vice President Atiku Abubakar present in any coalition, any group, any other meeting, other than the meeting that is constituted, composed or convoked by the People's Democratic Party. He should, by all purpose and intent, be the driver, be the face, and be a leader, because the only leaders we would have had in the party was if former President Olusegun Obasanjo was still an active politician and still a member of the PDP, then Atiku could not be the leader. If President Jonathan was still actively involved in PDP's activity, then Atiku could not be a leader. But Atiku Abubakar was a vice president before them at this time, who is today still a member of the People's Democratic Party. So for that structure, Atiku Abubakar should naturally take the position of the leader of the party, and therefore should not have been seen for any reason on any coalition group. The second aspect of it, that he has been a flag bearer of the party back to back for 2 consecutive electoral cycles. That again suggests that he should not, for any reason, if he should be seen in any gathering of, he should have the name Major. Major is different from coalition. Major is when political parties, like the unholy matrimony of the 2013, where APC, CPC, and all the rest, AFPP, and all came together. That is a major. It is different from coalition. For a people feel aggrieved within a circle, saying that we are pulling out to form another thing, then with the purpose of destroying that already existing structure. So when he says he's moving, for instance, you cannot tell me because he has not resigned from PDP, but they already had the membership card of ADC. Didn't they give Alebo Shura, didn't they give Senator Bonaventure Alechinuman membership card of a political party? They gave them membership card before they gave them flag. So every one of them that have sat there have already subscribed themselves to ADC. So how do you now say you want to go to equity? How do you now want to challenge the man to say this man is doing wrong?
Now, Comrade, a lot of Nigerians have been reacting to this coalition, and one of them is Omoyele Sowore, who says, look, these are strange bedfellows and they have political baggage, and they've been involved in the government that has led Nigeria to where it is today, in one way or the other. A lot of them have even held ministerial appointments and executive positions, and thereby saying that, look, nothing good can come out of this coalition. And I'm sure his sentiment is echoed by quite a lot of Nigerians. Having said that, is it possible for a third force to emerge that is different from this political elite that we've seen, and that you've rightly said in your analysis that, you know, they're part and parcel of the APC and they've been part of the PDP and government in the past? Is it possible for a third force to emerge that is not politically tainted and can be seen as, you know, since you said it's the people that determine
yes,
who gets to government house at the end of the day? What are your analysis on this?
Yes, very clearly, it is possible that between the life cycle span that is left of about 18 months, there is certainly the prosperity of a third force, not necessarily a force that will be driven by the Nigerian people. And I must say, when Sowore speak about Nigeria's democracy, I respect such kind of ideology and such kind of view. Not because he's a unionist, a former unionist, or a comrade. It's because of the fact that this man has been consistent in his advocacy. When there are people's dissatisfaction, you will find him there. When people are victimized, oppressed, intimidated, you will find him there. If you see Sanishe who comes up today to say he's complaining, I will.
Once again,
I will follow him. If the lights until I'm seeing Peter Obi in this group of people, for yesterday, If Peter Obi stands, I will follow him without a second thought. I will follow him without a second thought. The reason is that, like you mentioned clearly, and let us be very honest, 97% of those gathered in that room were either former governors, former senators, former vice presidents, former candidates, former ministers, former House of Rep members. Let us ask them that from 2015, we may kill it at 2023, and say from 2023, when the cry of hardship, hunger, insecurity, pains, owed to inconsistent policies, have not become the nightmare of Nigerians, let one of them show us where they have returned to their immediate constituency to do something that mitigates the circumstance of that suffering, where they have shown us, either by way of error or accidentally, found themselves in a place where people are suffering and they have provided. Let them show us where they have returned to their immediate state to say, because I have benefited in the last 15 years, in the last 20 years, in the last 25 years, right from when the return of democracy in 1999 up until yesterday, I have been benefiting from government. Not that this government is leading you people wrongly. There is problem of food, there is problem of school fees, there is problem of transportation. I am doing X, Y, Z. You cannot want to lead the people that you are not connected with now. It is not done. The reason why Peter Obi enjoyed what he enjoyed in 2023 was based on the fact that everybody saw him as their own. Peter Obi connected with the people. An average person in the street saw him as their own. That was the same thing Governor Adams Oshomole did to us in Edo. You must connect to the people. You must if you are not directly connected to the people, associate of yours must be connected to the people. But what suggests it? So if Shore says that they are fellows, well, I still respect a whole lot of them, but I do not think that it is right. It would have been proper if it had been a thought of political party sitting together to say, we are tired of XYZ based on our political ideology. We are going to be driving XYZ policy.
All right, we're running out of time, Comrade.
There are states that are controlled by PDP.
All right, we're running out of time, Comrade, but want to quickly, slide in the last question. If you can answer in the shortest possible time, we'll appreciate that. You said that what you would prefer would be the citizen-led coalition, not what is currently existing. What will the shape of this citizen-led coalition look like? And do you know if former President Goodluck Jonathan is a part of this coalition? If he supports it, would he change your mind?
As it is today, I am not in any way to say that my principal, my boss is a father to me, had suggested in any meeting or any conversation that he has the slightest of idea about this coalition. But if for any reason he finds himself as a part of this coalition, it will be one of the difficult decisions that I will be making.
Difficult in the sense that
I will be making.
How difficult in the sense that you will not support it or you will have to support it?
Difficult in the sense that as a political young man, there are certain persons that from yesterday I have resolved that I cannot be on the same political airspace with again.
Okay. So
it's on principle and on ideology.
All right, so I'm taking that as
principle and on ideology. There are certain persons, I will continue to respect them, but I will never share the same political platform with them again.
All right, I think we get the message. But then the second part of the question was, if you're saying that it has to be a coalition led by the citizens, what would that shape look like? If this current leaders who have the level of influence that may be necessary to win an election, if you're writing all of them off, what would that look like from the part of the leaders? 30 seconds, please.
That coalition will be that coalition that will not be driven by desperation. It will be a coalition that will be driven by people-centric motive. A coalition that will take the worries, the concerns of the people into account. A coalition that will be from the people to say this is where we are going to, and this is what we have narrowed down on. That time will come, and when that time comes, you will receive it the way EndSARS manifested itself. You will see it the way End Bad Government came. It will come, and when that time comes, it will not be announced, it will be visible.
All right, Comrade Jude Imagwe, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We thank you for your time.
Thank you for sharing your platform with me.
All right, quite an interesting conversation that we had this morning. But now let's share with you what's coming up next on Breakfast Central. Coming up next, ADC leaders step down as David Mark Rauf Aregbesola takes over interim leadership of the party. ECOWAS Parliament members meet, highlight challenges of AI adoption. Federal government launches committee to commercialize innovation. Stay tuned.
Still discussing Nigeria's political realignment with the adoption of the African Democratic Congress by the opposition coalition. Our next focus moves to examine further whether or not this coalition is a credible threat to the ruling party and the PDP, or just another elite power play dress-up as a reform.
Because let's be honest, Nigerians have seen a similar move before. Coalitions formed in hotel ballrooms, press conferences filled with recycled rhetoric, and then what? Silence. So what makes this different? We will be speaking this morning with someone who might know a thing or two about the formation of this new coalition and can better still tell us why the new coalition should be taken seriously. Joining us for this discussion is a politician and the founder of Ovation Magazine, Chief Dele Momodu. Good morning, Chief Momodu. Thank you for joining us. I think a good way to start would be to say congratulations on the formation of the coalition. How do you feel about it?
Well, good morning from Abuja. I would like to start by saying congratulations to Nigerians, because this is a party formed by majority of political actors in Nigeria, whether you are of the left, you are of the right, or of the center. So this is what makes it very exciting for me. The current ruling government was beginning to take everyone for granted, bullying all of us as if we have no right to associate with ourselves. And so yesterday, I believe they inflicted the fear of God into this government, and maybe we'll begin to see the government in a different light. In fact, if you were at the Yaradua Center in Abuja yesterday, you'll be amazed at, the galaxy of stars from the Nigerian political circle. Yes, I can see you showing the footage. For us, I like the name to start with, African Democratic Congress. You see, democracy is the foundation of every government. And the moment you lose that democracy, then it becomes a dictatorship. It's beginning to look like Nigeria has fallen in the hands of people who just want to play like emperors, people who want to bully everyone. You see governors in panic. The country, 2 years after taking power, you see our governors. I've never seen anything like it. Everybody is jittery because of the fear of one man. But I'm excited at least now we will have a formidable opposition. Yesterday, I saw one man, and for me, he is the hero of this coalition. And that's Baba John Oyegun, the former APC chairman, the former governor of my home state, Edo State. I mean, for a man of his age who does not need anything from Nigeria, to say, no, we cannot allow this to happen. We were together in exile for years. He was one of the most committed people who fought for this democracy. So for me, that was a powerful message that no, we will not allow Nigeria to go down and fall in the hands of a cabal that wants to seize all of us. For me, democracy is everything. Okay. What we are fighting for first is democracy. Then we have some of the best technocrats in Nigeria in that coalition. You will see it's just the beginning. As events unfold, you will begin to appreciate what ADC is trying to do for Nigeria.
Now, Chief Momodu, how do you react to, analysts that say it's a correlation of strange bedfellows, that the only common denominator between all those individuals is that they fell off with President Tinubu at one point or the other? You mentioned Mr. Oyegun too, and yourself, you were all in exile together at some point. The current president and you were very close in London in the Nadeko days. How do you respond to people that see this as a sense of betrayal? That why would you do this to your friend?
The betrayal is in killing the democracy that we suffered for. We lost everything. People lost their lives. And today, we cannot guarantee peaceful elections. We cannot guarantee credible elections. That's where the betrayal lies. So betrayal is not about personal friendship. Patriotism is about placing your country above friendship. I have nothing personal against President Tinubu. I hold him in the highest esteem. And in fact, I pity him because sometimes I wonder if he is aware of what is going on in his environment. This is not the democracy we fought for. And when you see friends who can stand up in a place where lives depend on government, you know it's like Nigeria. Lives depend on government. And people say, no, I'm not joining a government. I've never been in any government. I've never been in power, and I've been in politics since my final year at the University of Ife, Obafemi University in 1982. And I've never been in any government. We came back from exile. For 8 years, Tinubu was governor of Lagos State. Did you see me in his government, or did you see me around the government? So for me, I am an able-bodied man who struggles within my modest means to survive in Nigeria and globally. So for me, we betray our country if after some people died for this democracy, we allow a few people.
Okay, seems we have poor network connectivity there all the way from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, where we have Chief Dele Momodu joining us from. Well, Benga, I think he's responded to your question, very key question.
But it's not personal.
Yeah, it's not personal. Many have said it looks like a betrayal. Some have said that it's looking that way because this was someone you spent time with during the time of Nadeko and the likes.
Well, the Yoruba adage says 20 chickens cannot play together for 20 years.
Because somebody is going to kill them, use them for Christmas, I guess.
I hope I said that correctly.
Very well said. And to Olive's question too, he talked about the who is who in Nigerian politics. He also mentioned technocrats that were at the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center yesterday. But the question is, ordinary Nigerians, I mean, there's still so many things to unpack.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, you have all this juggernaut.
Yes.
What mechanism will be used to choose who will be the flag bearer
So many questions.
for the ADC? And there's also the question of zoning.
Yeah.
Yes, would it be zoned or you're going to throw it open?
Also, I think another question I would hope that he can help address this morning, because he was the one who brought the issue of them not being able to use the Wells
venue,
Carlton.
yeah.
You know, when he shared the message
exclusive
from the
information.
hotel.
The Wells.
Yeah, Carlton, when he shared the message
Yes.
on social media. So the question would be, because from the inference and the way the post was put out, it's the suggestion of, do you think that the opposition was behind this? And if yes, are there fears that the opposition might in some way find a way to penetrate this new coalition and dismantle it from within? Because all the members of the other political parties have accused the opposition. The PDP accuses the opposition of being an instrumental to what's happening within the party. Labour Party has accused the opposition as well. So are there fears or concerns that the opposition will do the same thing? And what guards are they mounting against?
Exactly, and what reactions are they expecting from the All Progressive Congress? We also hope to, I'm sure we're going to get reactions before midday today, a torrent of reactions from stakeholders in the ruling APC. And if you can predict them, what they will say is, you know, it doesn't faze us.
Absolutely.
Or we encourage this as part of democracy, yes.
And I would also like him to speak to something that Comrade Jude Imagwe had talked about, which is the fact that a number of these politicians were not actively involved in the youth concerns, where, you know, the NSAS, End Bad Governance protest,
they were even part of that government.
All of them except Peter Obi. You know, that's one of the, you know, conversations that we've had. Welcome back, Chief Mamadou, to the conversation. We hope that, yes, we can see you, and we hope that the network is clearer now. You were responding to Benga's question when he said that, what are your thoughts about people who said that you're betraying your friend? And you said it's not personal, that it's a betrayal of the democracy that we have. But I also want to, just to officially confirm that you are a member of the ADC. Is that correct? Chief Amadou, we can't hear you.
Can you kindly unmute your device?
Right? We're still having a bit of challenge with the...
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, yes.
We can.
Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead. We just want to officially confirm that you're a member of the ADC. Is that correct?
Okay. No, the registration only started yesterday. The interim chairman, David Mark, was the first to have his registration yesterday, so we're all registering now. Yes.
All right.
I'm definitely a part of it, definitely.
All right, thank you for...
Because I am not comfortable with any...
Thank you very much for clarifying your membership.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can. Thank you very much for clarifying your membership. I wanted to ask a question, which is why I just needed to confirm that. And the question is regarding the message you had sent from the hotel where this meeting was scheduled to have been held. It would seem that, you know, some people have started to infer that there was some political interference in that. Is that a position you agree with? And again, seeing as many of the opposition, members of the opposition party have thrown blames or laid accusation at the APC for intermeddling in some way with their party behind the scenes and causing internal crisis, is that a concern that APC shares? That, you know, the APC might be able to infiltrate and destabilize the party?
Everybody, you don't have to be a politician. The mistake we often make in Nigeria is to reduce everything to politics. For example, I see myself as a part-time politician. I'm more of a publisher than a politician. But Nigeria is a concern to me, and that is why I ended up in exile. You understand? So a lot of people are very worried that the democracy that we labored for is being toyed with. I don't know if you read Colonel Umar Kangiwa's message a few days ago after he received the national honor from President Tinubu. Yeah. If someone who ordinarily should just say, oh, I'm happy, I've been honored by Nigeria and by the president, and then keep mute. But he was still warning us that this infant democracy should not be toyed with. Anybody who loves Nigeria and loves Nigeria more than friendship, more than his pocket, would agree that we need to do something about Nigeria. We all lament like the biblical Jeremiah. in this country. But when we now find at least something that is a semblance of a solution to it, then we start complaining immediately. So what are the options before us? Are you better today than you were in 2023 when Tinubu took power? So you should be able to answer it. I tell people, in America today, the only reason you have President Donald Trump is because the Republicans knew that, okay, they were complaining that the Democrats were not performing. What is the option? You must seek first that political power. A lot of our young people supported Peter Obi in the last election, but he still didn't make it. Whether, I don't know what happened, whether by hook or by crook. Some people said he won, some people said he did not win. But so how do you move forward? Are you going to repeat the same mistake of just lamenting and complaining and doing nothing about it? Nations are not governed by saints. Nations are governed by performance. So leadership is about managing people and resources. And we can see that the people managing us are not managing us well. So the alternative is to seek power through other platforms. And that platform now is being provided by bringing everybody together, whether you are saints and you are sinners. Bring everybody together and let's all come and fight within that platform to rescue Nigeria from those who are certain will lead us to Golgotha. That is the situation we are in. When you see the kind of people who gather together, come together, you must know that it's not just about power. So if you believe in Peter Obi, how does Peter Obi become president of Nigeria if he cannot reach the number? It's a game of number. If those who believe in Atiku, if they don't come and join this coalition, how will Atiku get the number? If you combine Atiku and Obi the last time, look at the figure, you will see that they would have defeated any candidate. So now the same people who are saying Nigeria is not good, Nigeria is not good, they now have an opportunity, but they want to go and import saints from heaven to come and lead Nigeria. It's a game of number. That's why Donald Trump is a president today. They sacked him from office. Joe Biden came, but the Republicans brought him back because they know he's the one who has the number. So Nigerians must know the solution to our problem. The solution is that whosoever you support, if we cannot raise the number, it will just become a serial contestant. And at the end of the day, we will also suffer for it.
All right.
This is the best opportunity we have now to change this APC out of power. If we do not support it, of course, I do not have any other power than just one vote. So, and then maybe what we are doing now, talking. But talk is cheap. So we need action. So ADC is the action required now to take on this guy. Imagine within 2 years, a president with the deluge of crisis that we have in Nigeria is only campaigning for 2027. That's what we see now everywhere. INEC has not even declared the electoral process open. Everybody's in flagrant disobedience to our electoral laws. Everybody's already campaigning. So that is why the opposition too had to wake up that look, hey, if we allow these people to continue this way, we will end up with a one-party state. And that will be disastrous for our democracy.
All right, Chief, I mean, just to also clarify that last statement that you made, I do recall passing by the 3rd Mainland Bridge, and I can categorically state here that some of the posters have been taken down. This also supports what a member of the APC who joined us here live said, that these posters are not supported or put by the president, but are done by loyalists and those who appreciate the good work he's doing. But away from that, are you now saying that the PDP is no longer a viable a party that would be able to unseat the APC, because you're also leaving? You've said it here categorically that you will be leaving the PDP, you'll be registering with the ADC. And my second question is, too many juggernauts, like they say in the African palace, too many hands can spoil the soup. Who will now be the presidential candidate that everyone would choose? Are we going to see a case where a former vice president will come back again to be the presidential candidate? What are your thoughts with these?
Any Nigerian who is interested in contesting presidential election is free to contest. Please, I think we're jumping the gun again. People have come together to raise a formidable political party. It happened before. I was there in 2014, though I was not a member of APC. We supported Buhari because we felt PDP was going in the wrong direction. That is the nature of politics. If you are not pleased with what you have, you seek something else. So you ask a question about whether PDP is no longer viable. Of course, PDP is no longer viable. If you want to confront APC, APC already hijacked PDP. Why are we always asking questions when we already know the answers? PDP has already hijacked Labour. Yesterday, you saw Peter Obi, you saw one of, Senator Abaribe, a guy I respect so much. You saw all of them in that gathering. You saw Baba Yegun, who was chairman of APC. Do you think what they are looking for is power? They are worried about the direction Nigeria is going. Why are we always pretending? We are the ones who lament the most. All of us sitting in their parlor and all we're doing is crying, bemoaning the fate that has befallen Nigeria. And yet, when we see a solution, we're looking for the distractions. We're not going to be distracted. The truth of the matter is that majority of the opposition parties have been decimated, have been scattered to the winds by the ruling government. Okay, that is the truth. Yeah. That is our reality. Why won't we accept it? Please accept that reality and help us to inform your wide audience about why ADC is the option.
Okay, I know that.
I've never seen political parties come together the way they did yesterday. It has never happened. Not even the formation of APC. I was there at the beginning.
I mean, just to quickly touch this, I know you say that in some measure we're putting the cart or the horse before the cart, but I don't know if you probably can speak to the conversation about zoning, if you think that is something that would, be a key consideration when choosing a presidential candidate for the ADC.
Madam, these are some of the most experienced politicians in our country. These are people. Alhaji Atiku, for example, started in 1993 when he stepped down for Chief Moshood Abiola at the SDP primaries in Jos. I was there. I was present. I was a 33-year-old man, or 32, going on to 33. I witnessed it. And he has been conducting his ambition admirably, without use of force. He does not control any state. He's a businessman. He's probably the biggest businessman who is also in politics in Nigeria. Peter Obi has been a formidable businessman. He has been a governor. Tiko was a vice president. Okay? So when you have Rotimi Amechi, who has gone through the whole gamut of governance in Nigeria, from being a speaker for 8 years, governor for 8 years, minister for 8 years. So the accumulated experiences would help Nigeria if they are able to manage the political affairs very well. You cannot talk about governance if you do not have the right people in power. So for all those who love Peter Obi, whatever decisions the party they try to reach, you support him. But if people say, oh, unless Atiku is the candidate, we're not going to agree, and then you'll be working for Tinubu. If people say, unless Obi is the presidential candidate, I won't be working for him, then you'll be working for Tinubu. So this is how it works. If the supporters of Amechi say, unless Amechi is the candidate. No, we have passed that stage. I am telling you, this thing has been in the works for 18 months minimum. It was revealed yesterday. They didn't just come together in one day to say, hey, we want to seize power. It's not about power. It's about good governance. But before you can talk about good governance, you must seek political power first. That's because that's the foundation.
Now, Chief Momodu, you did allude to the fact that the APC, the ruling APC, one way or the other, has managed to, infiltrate the ranks of opposition parties, and that's why a number of them have internal crises. But it seems there might be trouble in the APC, and this is why I say this. The ADC's 2023 presidential candidate, Dumebi Kachukwu, has voiced his disapproval of this move. He stated that the coalition is engaging with a former leadership structure as the tenure of the Onwosu-led executive of the ADC officially ended on August 21, 2022. Kachukwu insisted that any coalition looking to join the ADC must go through the front door. Are you concerned about this? And could this be used as a way of causing rancor and destabilization in the new ADC formation? Did they really did they do due diligence before adopting the ADC?
My dear brother, and with all due respect to my very, very dear friend and brother, Dumebi was a presidential candidate. A presidential candidate does not own a party. The front door of every party is the party secretariat, and that's what we saw in attendance yesterday. The full gamut of the secretariat was there. In public glare, it was not hidden. There is no back door. I was a presidential candidate on the platform of the National Conscience Party. In 2011, I was a candidate in Nigeria. I know that a candidate is a product of the party. A party is not owned by a candidate. Peter Obi was the candidate of Labour. Today, can you say Labour is viable for Peter Obi? Because the people went in there to scatter that party, to make sure that Obi will have no platform to contest. At the rate we were going, if ADC was not adopted yesterday, this ruling government, ruling party of APC, it will get to a stage where they will ban all other political parties and sentence them into eternity. They will not exist. So Dumebi, as a patriot, I was one of those who used to quote Dumebi's lamentations. Both of us, we love Nigeria so much that he will lament, he will call me, I will call him, we will discuss. And this is the end to our lamentations. We must seek power. We must join, whether they consult him or not. A patriot. I was not a part of the meetings. I was following the meetings. I wasn't a part. But I was praying for them silently. Because that is the only way out of this, disaster that may befall our democracy if care is not taken.
All right.
So my appeal to Dumebi is that, okay, we were not consulted. Please take it as your contribution to nation building. We must build our nation. It's not about anything personal. I don't care if I don't have any role in ADC. I will support ADC.
All right.
Because what are the options before us? The option is to continue with this APC. No.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chief Mwodu. We hope to we wish you all the best today with your registration, and we will continue to follow up with the developments of this coalition. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm sure many people will be wondering what the current ruling party will say. But let's quickly bring you a quick background check on what the ADC, which is the current new bride of the political space, really has in terms of history. Let's put that there on the screen quickly before we bring on our next guest. Well, the ADC was actually founded in 2005 by Ralph Nwosu, who served as the party's long-standing national chairman, by the way. Just in case you do not know, the party was originally known as the Alliance for Democratic Change as its initial formation, but later adopted the name African Democratic Congress before its official registration with Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Now let's tell you quick more information. In May 2018, the ADC gained national attention when it was adopted by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, a coalition for Nigeria movement, otherwise known as CNM. Don't forget, the president also was looking to have a coalition to unseat the former President Muhammadu Buhari. The ADC has fielded presidential candidates every single election year since 2007. You had Professor Pat Utomi, who emerged fourth in the election in 2007. Reverend Peter Uchenna Nwagu emerged eighth. 2015, Dr. Mani Ibrahim Ahmad seventh. The late Obadiah Malafia also emerged fourth. And in 2023, the man who's been talking tough as well, Mr. Dumebi Kachuku, emerged 10th on that during that election. Let's bring in our guest who's here to join us very quickly. We do have the ADC Lagos chapter chairman, Mr. George Ashiru, who's here as well to speak candidly on the current political landscape and the changes that we are indeed seeing. Good morning and thanks for taking time to join us.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning for the team. How are you today?
Not bad, not bad. We're doing good. So what are your thoughts? I'm sure you've been following very closely and you've actually seen the caliber of persons, especially the political bigwigs who have decided to form this coalition. Do you think there's going to be any way forward, especially with what we see?
I also want to chip in and add that the last time you were here on Democracy Day, did you know this was in the offing?
Well, you need to also remember that exactly a year ago on your channel, I predicted this. I was a guest on one of your shows, and I said when Atiku had gone to visit Buhari and an issue of whether there was a coalition talk. So a year ago, I had actually told you that the coalition was potentially in the works, and that it's not unexpected, and that's what we're seeing. And I'm sure since then I have spoken so many times on the issue of collaboration. Even at your chairman's, inaugural chairman's meeting in Lagos, my very first statement is collaboration is important and a very credible opposition is necessary for democracy to thrive in any nation. So yes, of course, as a member of the neck of the party, we knew something was going on. Not necessarily all of the details, but we also realized the importance of trying to come together as a political force and movement to give Nigerians a chance to have a voice concerning the way they are ruled and the opportunities that are available to them as Nigerian citizens. Yes. So those are my thoughts. I've listened to Big Brother Dele Momodu speak, and I'm glad that he's with us, and all of the wonderful people that we saw there, including people I've worked with in the past, even though I was never in the political movement decades or several years ago. People that have served under who were ministers in a technocratic position, and those who are ministers of youth and sports when I was president of Nigeria Taekwondo Federation. And they were all belonging to different political parties, but now they've come to my party, and now they are senior brother in the party.
Okay. I guess. Okay. My question to you would be your response to those who have argued that the ADC is putting old wine in new wineskin.
APC also consisted of people that were old wine, and they came together to form a new, in quotes, a new skin with the same old wine. And I think it is clear that in any governmental structure or political systems, you are going to need a potpourri of talents and capacities. You need experience. You need people that have been there before. You need people that have governed. They understand the pitfalls. You need people that have the knowledge of mobilization and campaigning as well as governance. So naturally, when there is a political movement that is seeming to have momentum, all of these people will come together, and that's what democracy is all about. So pushing people out, telling people they cannot come in. I mean, the constitution of the party says the party will not accept anyone who has been criminally convicted. But outside of that, it would be undemocratic to prevent people from coming to join your party if your party has the right kind of ideology and political systems that will help to achieve, ultimately, the goal of every Nigerian is to make Nigeria a better country. And it is always difficult to do so unless there is a foundation built on some kind of principles. And the reason ADC was adopted was because at the end of the day, consistently, all the leaders of ADC have worked to make this party become what it has become. When other parties were dying out, deregistered, other parties were being sold out, or there was infiltration, ADC was consistent with its vision. And that is what all of these other leaders saw from the various political parties and realized that, look, you cannot win an election, except, in fact, when you talk about Donald Trump, you know, in America, you keep hearing the same thing, a coalition of people that believed in conservatism, looking for a champion, and they picked a very unusual person, and, you know, the goal was achieved twice. And it's just the nature of humans, social development and leadership that these sort of things will happen. And ADC at this time, as I've said it over and over again, when I was in your show, I confirmed it, that again, ADC has been able to sell itself as a party representing the balance between political artistry as well as good governance.
Now, Mr. Asher, I'm going to ask the same question my colleague asked Chief Dele Momodu, in terms of the personalities you've adopted that are now part and parcel of this coalition. A lot of them held elective office in government that if you ask Nigerians, if you do a referendum, they will say they didn't perform excellently. But you've rightly said it's a democratic party. You adopt all sorts of people. Now, my question is, how do you keep the ADC character and principles, and also looking at the caliber, the juggernauts, as my colleague used, that are the political heavyweights that are part and parcel of this ADC? What would the flag bearer selection process look like? Will there be zoning? And when it's done, what would be done to keep, because, I mean, we've seen people join parties and left parties in less than 6 months. Look at Malam Nasir El-Rufai, for example. He's been in 3 parties this year alone. He's been in the APC, he's been in the SDP, and is now in ADC. Could you answer those questions for us, please? Thank you.
Again, we all have to accept the fact that individually, just like the way people move around in the media industry, we have people that move around in the banking industry, people join one bank, and then after 1 year, they go to another bank, seeking clearly whatever it is that is their goal in life, they're looking for it somewhere. And it's a professional hazard that people will be part of something, and then if they feel the culture, it does not fit their style or their lifestyle or their desires or their needs or whatever it is, their convictions, they will seek another one that has it. And I think that in itself is not unusual if you're not the one creating the culture or leading the culture. So naturally, there are people that will come, strong personalities that have done well in other areas, and some that have not done well in the areas that pertains to their appointments or their elections. But this is a chance for these same people to come together and remedy the errors of the past. It's a chance for these same people to come and say, look, we've made some mistakes, we've learned from those mistakes, we now have a new platform, let's get it right. Let's use this platform to get it right. And it's the same thing as when someone marries, you know, at a very young age, and then they make a lot of errors in their marriage, and then they're separated, or they're divorced, and they go through therapy. Then they come back and say, look, I made a mistake, I understood what my mistakes were, and I'm going to change the way that I partner with others today. That is what we believe that these wonderful people are coming in to do in our political party, because, for example, in ADC Lagos, we have a statement of purpose. Our statement of purpose is very clear. Our core values are very clear. What we stand for is very clear. If you come into our party, you look at it, and if you're doing something contrary to that, the leadership of the party, which is myself, will make it clear to you, no, this is not the way we want to do things. This is how we do things. This is how we want things to be done. And I expect that such candidates or such members will fall in line. That's what we have been doing since I became chairman of the party, changing the culture to make it something that is people responsive and is ideologically driven, not just looking for power or for position or for money. And we are rewarded by the fact that people have seen this and have come and say, okay, I think you represent the sort of thing we're looking at. Of course, it's not going to be easy. We have to manage people, just like in any corporate entity. If you bring someone from another organization, take them straight to the top, they're going to rock the boat because they're coming from a different culture. So we have to prepare for that. That's why it's taking a long time for us to make this happen. And it's going to be an interesting journey, and we're ready for it.
All right. Been an interesting journey. Many have called for full support, especially looking at the fact that Mr. Peter Obi has also indicated his interest to ensure that the coalition works. Yesterday, we did see pictures of different persons. One name also strikes a chord, and that has to do with Honorable John Odige Oyegun, who happened to have been there from time memorial. Many have mentioned his huge influence in bringing the former President Muhammadu Buhari to power while he was there with the APC. At 85 years of age, is now with the ADC. His influence, not forgetting to that of other political party members. Do you think, personally, that we're about to see a trend where people will remain in their political parties and then give support to the current coalition? And what would this do to Nigeria's democracy? Wouldn't it tear it down?
Okay, so now we are practicing democracy in Nigeria. We are experimenting with democracy. And I think in a lot of ways, I'm one of those that will accept the fact that we are still babies in the act of democratic practices, compared to the Western nations from where we picked it up from. I think basically you will find that because of the experience of a lot of people in the past, they're always going to do one leg in, one leg out. Some of them are going to retain their friendships and their relationships with the leadership of the parties that they are not happy with, while checking to make sure that this new party that they want to join is not essentially just a Trojan horse. So these sort of things are, like I said, I have a very open and transparent mind when it comes to things like this. I always say, let the wheat and the tare grow together. Let the wheat and the chaff grow together. So there will be people like that until they are convinced that you really truly stand for what you preach, and that what you are going to offer them is what you promise them. And then they will take a full stand with you. That's when you start seeing people picking their cards rather than men supporting the idea. So yesterday, the unveiling was people coming to say, we identify with the idea of having a coalition, but the actual act of picking their cards, it is now what you are hearing Babadele Bongo say, that we are now in the process of collecting, registering, and becoming members of that movement. And that means they saw or heard or were influenced by something. I mean, for a national chairman of a party to choose to step down in order to allow whoever comes in to have the chance to rule, is probably something they're not used to in politics, where people like to sit tight and dictate and choose and be grandfathers and godfathers for life. So that may be some of the things they're seeing, and they're deciding that perhaps this is the kind of party that we should belong to, where they are ready to make sacrifices for the sake of all Nigerians coming together. So I'm not going to focus too much energy on the possibility that people are coming in with their different personalities. Nigeria itself is a complex country. If you're going to lead Nigeria, start from leading ADC. If you can lead ADC with all these kinds of people, you will be successful in leading Nigeria.
What about the young people? We've heard the young people who have argued that they want to understand what the ADC's plan is for carrying the youth along. Earlier today, we had Comrade Jude Imagwe, who spoke about their involvement, and he's talking about all these key figures, saying that they've been rather silent when it comes to the issues that the young people have complained about, such as the NSAS and bad governance, and he doesn't see how it's a youth-led coalition, except for His Excellency Peter Obi. That was the only person he exempted from this strong accusation. So how do you foresee the ADC carrying along the young people, representing the young people? Do you think the youth will wholeheartedly welcome them?
Well, the most important and very unusual part is that ADC actually has a reputation for supporting youth activities and giving youth a chance, within the party itself. We are probably the only party that has in its leadership about 25 to 30% of women involved in key areas of the leadership of the party. And we always, for all elections, we always give women either free tickets, just like the youths. We give them free tickets so that they can participate. And if you look at the various state levels, like in Lagos State, 90% of the chairmen of the local government of ADC in Lagos State, 90% of them are youths. And that tells you that we are already investing in creating a leadership for the future by giving them a chance. These are good mobilizers. These are people passionate about the country. So while the older ones may give direction and support, the youth are driving the engine that is moving the party forward. So I think wherever all these people are coming into the party, don't forget they're coming into a party. The party already has people, supporters, and those sort of people will now be able to merge with them and influence them to say, look, we're here. Thank you for coming and joining us. And let's work together. And they will find that a lot of people they're going to meet are young people, including state chairmen of parties, averagely in their 40s and 50s, very few in their 60s. And I think that that probably is again why ADC was attractive. Because when you see the kind of people you're talking to, you say, okay, this looks like, and let's even put it into perspective. The national chairman of the party itself is in his 60s. But he founded this party almost 20 years ago. He was in his 40s. Tells you that he founded it as a youth. And that's why there's a lot of that expectation that there'll be sensitivity to issues that have something to do.
I mean, was it Shuntu that said, somebody said politics, it's war by other means. And we've seen the APC being accused of destabilizing other political parties in Nigeria. What does the ADC, what are your plans to insulate yourself from internal wranglings and influence from the APC? Because Mr. Dumebi Kachukwu, your presidential candidate in 2023, said coalition members, and I quote, are enemies of Nigeria that would take Nigeria backwards. Is Mr. Kachukwu the weapon fashioned against the ADC?
No. Dumebi is a very good friend of mine. I do know that he's very passionate about Nigeria. And I know that when he came into ADC, he was passionate about the party. And he has very strong opinions about certain things and how he wants things to be run. And naturally, that became a problem between himself and the leadership of the party at the national headquarters. And those disagreements, unfortunately, remain unresolved. And so I'm not surprised that he has strong opinions about what we're doing right now. So I don't think it has anything to do with APC.
But are you worried,
a man who has strong convictions about what we expect.
Are you worried that one of your own in your fold is saying these things about the coalition? It doesn't do good PR for the ADC. It shows a bit of fracture.
I have absolutely no double mind about the fact that Dumebi has the greatest interest of Nigeria at heart and is speaking from his own opinion. I need to let you understand that ADC does not muffle the voices of people. So we don't say because you're an ADC. You see, one of the challenges we have, the reason this coalition is working is because a lot of people are accusing APC of being dictatorial in their leadership style, which means you can't speak against the party. You cannot voice your opinion about what you don't agree with. Everything has to be Baba said, Baba said, Baba said. And that is what's making people feel, are we in a democracy? Are we still in a military era? But we don't do that in ADC. People have publicly accused the national chairman of things in the past. People have publicly accused others, even from within the party, and they still remain within the party. So that is why we are saying that we don't ever want to muffle or muzzle other people from having the opinion about what is going on. You cannot say that 99.9% of ADC members are totally for the coalition. Naturally, there'll be those who have personal experiences with all these people coming from other parties. There'll be those who were in these parties, came to us earlier, and they are wondering why the same people they ran away from are coming to us. But that's the issue. I said it before, Nigeria is a complex nation of multiple types of people. If you want to run this country, you have to find the emotional intelligence to work with the people that are they also have their rights and they also have their needs in this country. So I don't think he's saying that in itself stop the train. I encourage him and others to voice their thoughts, voice their opinions, because that is the beauty of democracy. Free speech, it is guaranteed in the Constitution.
Okay.
I think it helps us in the end because it helps us to perfect whatever is done wrong in the past or in the process of achieving this coalition.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. ADC Lagos State Chairman Thank you for speaking with us. Let's just wait for a few more days. Hopefully, we would get some more revelation about what the coalition will do. Thanks for your time and thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll let you in on what's next. Definitely, it's the, we'll take a look at the newspapers, but before then, it will be breakfast headlines. Stay with us. Let's go straight to the headlines. We begin with politics. The biggest story trending right now from Nigeria on the political space is about the African Democratic Congress, which has inaugurated former Senate President David Mark and its interim national chairman. David Mark was appointed alongside former Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola, who now serves as the party's national secretary. The official handover was conducted at a coalition meeting in Abuja, which brought together members and stakeholders from various political parties.
We all decided to resign so that he can pedal this canoe and get us to the villa. The endorsement that we got and which we're today going to give to distinguished Senator David Mark as interim national chairman of ADC, also with the same mandate, the approval of Governor Rauf Aregbesola as national secretary.
Let history record that when our democracy faltered, we rose not in fear, but in faith. Let it be known today across Nigeria and beyond, the opposition is united. The platform is ADC. The time is now. The mission is clear. Rescue Nigeria, rebuild Nigeria, return power to the people.
In the meantime, the Plateau State House of Assembly has a new speaker. He is Nalong Daniel, who was elected to fill the office following the resignation of Gabriel Dewan. The development came during an emergency sitting at the temporary assembly complex at the old Government House, Jos. The new speaker was a former majority leader in the 9th Assembly and represents Mekong State constituency. He was unanimously chosen by the members to lead the 24-member assembly. The development reportedly followed a closed-door session between Governor Caleb Mufwang, the former Speaker Gabriel Dewan, and other lawmakers.
I came as a speaker to unify the Plateau State at the time that the political atmosphere was very tensed. I'm alone in my political party. I'm the youngest member in the assembly. And in order to respect the gentleman agreement in power sharing of Plateau State, I came after stabilizing the House. I felt it's necessary to step aside to give Plateau State the better political sharing formula where the governor, the deputy governor, and the speaker should come from the 3 different senatorial districts. It is on that basis that I decided to resign on my own.
I can tell you that we are all happy today. If you see my colleagues, it was a unanimous decision that I am being made today the Speaker of Plateau State House of Assembly. And I can tell you millions of people out there are celebrating it because that is the spirit of Plateau. Plateau wants the kind of development that will reflect every zone to have equal representation.
All the way from that story, the federal government has inaugurated the Research and Innovation Commercialization Committee aimed at converting research findings from Nigerian tertiary institutions into commercially viable products and services. Inaugurating the committee in Abuja, the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Alonso, said the move aligns with President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda to transition Nigeria into a knowledge-driven economy. Chaired by Dr. Tayo Adoloju of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, the committee brings together stakeholders from academia, industry, and government.
Apart from transitioning research outputs into goods and services, for addressing societal challenges, the commercialization of research outcomes has several other benefits. It bridges the gap between academia and industry, thereby fostering strong collaboration between universities, research institutions, and the private sector. It also facilitates revenue generation for institutions and researchers.
For too long, there has been a worrisome disconnect between the academia and the industry, such that research is being conducted in our tertiary institutions has become a mere tool for career advancement. Our tertiary institutions should be a breeding ground for creativity, original thinking, and innovation that shape our well-being as well as drive socio-economic development.
We will interrogate this investment and research. We think Tech Fund is a catalyst, but when we are done, we must go beyond Tech Fund to create a pathway for the catalyzation of investment at scale in research.
We remain enthusiastic about building a knowledge-based economy that is enduring, globally competitive, inclusive, and driven by homegrown solutions.
Outside Nigeria, Guinea's ruling junta wants to extend presidential terms from 5 to 7, with 2-term limit according to a draft constitution due to be put to a referendum in September. The draft was presented last Thursday to General Mamadi Doumbouya, head of the junta that ousted President Alpha Conde in 2021, one in a series of military coups in West Africa. It did not specify whether Doumbouya would be able to run for president when the country returns to democratic elections. The upcoming referendum is meant to pave the way for a return to constitutional rule in the country, where the junta has placed sharp curbs on citizens' freedom since taking power. And finally, in the United States, Republican leaders in the U.S. Congress delayed a key vote for hours on Donald Trump's signature tax and spending bill on Wednesday as they scrambled to win over a group of rebels threatening to torpedo the centerpiece of the president's domestic agenda. Trump is seeking final approval in the House of Representatives for a Senate-passed one big beautiful bill, but faces opposition on all sides of his fractious party over provisions set to balloon the national debt while launching a historic assault on the social safety net. House Speaker Mike Johnson told lawmakers to return to their offices, holding open a series of afternoon procedural votes required before final approval for more than 3 hours after it was first called, with no sign of the stalemate break. And that's all on Breakfast Headlines. Front pages of the newspapers. Wonder what they're saying? Well, stick around and stay with us as Breakfast Central continues.
You're welcome back to Breakfast Central. It's time for the front pages, and we have with us a distinguished gentleman. He is the head of strategy and public affairs of Nairametrics, Mr. Wade Ayimie. Thank you so much for joining us on this very busy, politically busy Thursday morning. And I'm sure all the newspapers would have that correlation as their headline. Please, can we have the Punch? Let's put up the Punch. Let's punch you into the news. Yes, front page of the Punch has predicted Atiku Obi Mark launch ADC to unseat Tinubu The rider says over 20 former governors, ex-APC, PDP bigwigs, Buhari's ministers join coalition. ADC faction rejects takeover. Is he really an ADC faction or Mr. Dumebi Kachobu? But we'll get to that. There's also MAN, that's Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, not man as in gender. Marketers rally for refinery privatization as $3 billion repairs falters. So we've done turnaround maintenance after turnaround maintenance, and it's just like we're throwing money into the waste bin. We'll discuss that if we have the time. U.S. jails France-based Nigerian 41 months for $8 million fraud, and Rep 6 emergency relief for Niger Kwara flood victims. The Nigerian must review 2025 budget to avert crisis, IMF warns. Okay, we'll start with the big one. Atiku will be marked launch ADC to on Sit Tinubu. Do you think the APC should be jittery by the caliber of who is who in Nigerian politics that we saw at the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center in Abuja yesterday?
Are we seeing a repeat of 2014, 2015? When new money bags come into...
It's almost like deja vu feeling.
When new money bags come into a league, then you get all the best players.
It's true.
And I'm not sure they got in the best players. They have some retired players there.
I mean, all the
stars.
Look, the Cristiano Ronaldos are there in terms of Mr. Peter Obi. You will have the Messis.
Obi cannot be Ronaldo.
You will have the Messis in terms of Atiku. Yeah. So if you're looking at political league, who is left?
How many leagues have those ones won in the last 4 years?
Maybe no, they've won at the lower divisions. They won the Anambra League, and one of them was a former vice president.
There are some retired figures. There are some figures who should have been retired, but are trying to stage a comeback. I don't see this like the Man City that came out in 2015, 16, or 2017. But what I see today is, yes, new money bags are coming in. Maybe we'll get an issue, we'll get like Paris Saint-Germain, how they started the year on a poor note and they ended up on the winning the European Championship, winning their league, winning their FA. They won like 4 trophies. So let's see how this goes. But I do think, in my opinion, the Nigerian political league, we've been talking about, when will the transfer season fully open, and you can see this transfer season now is open. It is finally open.
Okay.
The P League
new contenders
is ready. So there's a new team, there's a new club that's just been put together. There's new money that will be put into the club. Let's see which kind of players.
Will the current leaders be the APC? Should they be worried or jittery or concerned?
Well, so usually, and that's why I think this is the best time for them to have come in. Like I said, when I use Man City as an example, you saw when big money came in, they now started to get the big players. And within 2-3 years, when they got the big players, they won the title, and then they got the best coach. So let's see how it goes. Maybe their strategy will provide the best coach for 2027, who would change the fortunes of the team. But I see between now and when the election fever starts to pitch up, I would see...
You don't think it started?
No. You would see the recruitments. Let's see how the recruitments...
Are you saying that the APC would have more people come to their side? Because right now, it seems like the number of persons we saw yesterday, I mean, let's not beat around the bush. These are heavyweights in terms of names in the political space. And we saw them gather yesterday at the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center. Whether we like it or not, I mean, I'm just going to reiterate Benga's question to you. Is it enough to tremble, to shake the APC?
My opinion, I don't think. And I will explain why. Look at 2014, are you with me? It was a coalition of 2-3 parties, big wigs from 2-3 parties, including the ruling party at that time. I haven't seen any big wig move from the championship team. Are you with me? Can they hold on to their players over the next 6 to 18 months will tell me.
I mean, a lot of, just to interrupt you there, a former national chairman of the ruling party is part of the coalition.
Yes. You heard what I said at the beginning. There are some figures who are retiring and trying to stage a comeback.
Okay, so is it because of their retirement age that they are moving to the ADC?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that some players who have reached their peak and they need places.
I mean, if you have fans,
let me finish.
You can't have.
You won't let me finish the analysis.
Just interjecting.
Yes. You're interjecting me. So let me finish so that you understand. Now, what I'm saying is this: you need to groom a new team, so you need experienced players. They have reached the
so they are player coaches.
Yeah, so they are now pitching for those who can now start to groom the next set of players. And grooming it takes at least a season or half a season. And let's see the kind of matches that they're going to play. Who are the people they are going to go into the market and bring into that team? And that's really where the focus will be. Who can they pull out? Who are some of the big stars in the championship team that they can actually pull out? But when you tell me that, like you said Ronaldo and Messi, one plays in Saudi Arabia, the other one plays in America. Which leagues are they playing in? Please spare me. Yeah, they are stars, don't get me wrong, and they'll be stars till they retire. But even Ronaldo's team did not go to the World Club Championship.
But they won
and Messi's team lost 4-0 to the World Champions. So that's what I'm talking about. You can see, can they turn out to become a mold of what PSG became at the end of the season? That's the question we need to start asking ourselves. Who can they get in that transfer market that is not just big, but could make that difference and that impact on that team? Let's wait and see.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that the game, sports show, they are watching you and they're going to poach you very soon.
No, they can't poach me. They can't poach me.
Let's quickly check out another paper, the Vanguard. The Vanguard newspaper this morning, 2027. Atiku, Obi, Amechi, El-Rufai, others take over ADC as expected. Everybody's talking about it. But I like the rider on that paper. It says, emergence of coalition has made APC stronger, according to Keyamo. And I want our guests to react to that. But let me look at the other headlines. Hunger, inflation, fueling insecurity, Methodist prelate tells Tinubu. Review 2025 budget, IMF tells federal government. I should believe that's Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, DG to federal government. Sell worry Port Harcourt refineries, others now. Senate to CBN. Your policies have improved economy. So many other stories. It's not only politics to talk about. Let's first of all still lightly touch on the APC, the impact of the emergence of the ADC on the APC. Keyamo believes it makes the APC stronger. Apparently. Do you agree, or you think that the APC is somewhere plotting their comeback?
Well, I don't know whether it makes them stronger, but what I think it will do is it will make them more defensive oriented. Why? To make sure they keep their slack.
Change formation.
Yeah, they will change their formation. So now maybe they will move from 3-5-1 and play 6-3-1. So you have to defend.
As parking the bus.
Yes, well, like Chelsea, so you have to defend your goalposts. So I think that's what Keyamo is speaking about. It will make them stronger. Why? And maybe, like they are searching for a new assistant coach. Let's see who it is. So the market is really, really interesting. But
Keyamo saying it's going to make them stronger. Apparently, it's been how many hours since this coalition meeting was held? We haven't gotten a statement from some of the popular SSPs.
No, it's coming out. You just wait before.
I know, but we're expecting that it would have come very quickly. But Keyamo has taken the bull by the horn to speak up for them, saying it's going to make them stronger.
The statement that was made was very clear. We are setting up a new coalition. New money has come into town. So now let's go back and start to implement our strategies. Which players can we get from the championship team?
But they already have some big names, though.
Regular runner-ups, like my team, Arsenal. I know you are happy now. And that's what Keyamo is talking about. We saw what happened to Man City this season. They didn't show up their defense, and see, they were woeful. So I do think what Keyamo is telling the ruling party is that you need to change your formation, pack the boss, make sure you keep your strategic players, are you with me, that will make those changes and keep those changes in place and ensure victory in 2027.
Fantastic analysis. Sports viewers might be they feel biased that while we're using football analogy, it would be nice to do this again next week using cricket.
I will do whatever sports, even if it's handball, we will find the narratives for them. But we know, what we are sure is that the Nigerian MPL transfer season has kicked off on July 1.
Absolutely.
Let's move away from politics a bit and talk about the potential sale of refineries. So there's a position that's saying sell Warri, Port Harcourt refineries and others now. Do you agree?
Yes. I've agreed with it since as far as I can remember. Because, you see, it's either you do that or you let the people who run those refineries run like a business and source crude the way they are supposed to source crude, not just straight at their feet, and nobody accounts for it. And nobody brings back the money for the cost of the crude. And every day you have a hole. We can't have 4 refineries. Nigeria, I always say this, and I continue to say this, Nigeria's pipeline network is probably one of the most sophisticated in the world. It was new technology. It was built when pipeline networks were becoming a mainstay in moving petroleum products. And here we are, 40 years after, 50 years after, and we're still struggling.
So what happens to accountability? Those that the EFCC questioned last week, all the monies that has been spent on turnaround maintenance, would you say we've flushed it down the drain, it can't be recovered? Because, I mean, you can't just let people get away with
accountability.
This sort of...
For who?
To the country, for the money
so
spent.
Accountability to the country. By who? Those who...
Law enforcement agencies.
Which ones?
I mean, those that are in charge of fighting corruption.
I don't know the statistics. But
EFCC, Nigerian Police, ICPC.
EFCC, on the front pages of the newspapers and the press and the media, they've won more convictions than
in real life
going through the judicial system. So you question someone, I don't know what that means. Investigation,
because it was headline last week.
It's not my business who you question. It shouldn't be my business who you question.
You want to see results.
What I want to see is, have you taken the person who you are questioning to court so that the judge can look at the case? Every time they go to court, their cases are 7 out of 10 thrown out for lack of one thing or the other. But on the pages of the newspaper, we've recovered,
or we are arrested, or
we are arrested,
questioned.
We are questioned. You can come in for questioning over, and I would answer the questions. Does that mean that if you put it on the front pages that a new central analyst was questioned? Who am I? What big deal? And if I didn't do anything, I didn't do anything. If you have the records, you show it. Because there are systems and there are records and there are approval processes. So let's see.
They show workings for people that are spraying money, though. They are very excited about that.
Well, I'm not an advocate of spraying money.
All right, I want us to look at the final paper this morning, the Nigerian Tribune. And on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, again, PDP, APC bigwigs take over ADC as party emerges coalition's choice. Mark Aregbesola named chairman. Secretary Oyegun, CPC caucus and APC join. Mosu's NWC disowns publicity secretary. Tinubu leading Nigeria to creeping dictatorship, David Mark says. Constitution review, reps receive 46 states, 117 local government areas creation bills. 6 citizens imputes during zonal public hearing in 12 centers nationwide. Supreme Court reserves judgment in Edo governorship election case. 47% of Northwest lacks access to financial services, says Minister. Mokwa flood, 500 confirmed dead. Over 600 still missing, reps say. Raise alarm over possible disease outbreaks in IDP camps, and affected areas. I think we should talk about Mokwa flood again. And so it doesn't seem like right now everybody's talking about politics, which is the truth. Politics, election, and the other key areas are not really, being highlighted. If you go back to the Punch paper that Gbenga had taken earlier. You will see at the bottom right of the Punch newspaper as well, reps seek emergency relief for Niger, Kwara flood victims. So with all of this going on, the whole distraction of there's a new coalition, we're counting down to 2027, we're trying to unseat President Tinubu. Where do the Nigerian people come in all of this?
Go and register, go and start to hound INEC to get your voter's card. And in 2027, troop out as Nigerians. You know, this is a country where we don't even get 50% of the registered population voting. And I say this, you know, many of us are guilty, but you know, a lot of the young people, it's not Twitter we are going to vote on. Nobody is speaking to INEC now. All those who are, nobody, I don't know how many people INEC have registered that turned 18 since 2023. I'm sure there are millions. But nobody is speaking to that. Instead, we are all thinking, oh, we would unseat President Tinubu by sitting in our homes and not having a voter's card. INEC says they want to do electronic voting. Nobody is speaking to that. The ones that were the beavers and all, nobody is speaking to that. Instead, we are all concentrating on how we would unseat Tinubu.
I want to follow up on what Olive said. Nobody is talking about these issues. Your response is get voters card, be politically active. But how many people will even live to 2027? We're talking of real life issues. There are people that don't even know where their next meal will.
Are you telling me that 50% of the
can I land?
No, I don't want you to land because
I have to land.
No, because that's how you've also done for me. Are you telling me that 50% of the voting population would have died by 2027?
No, I'm not saying that, so and I didn't infer that. I said, what can people actively do to force governance? Are you telling me that the number of people would have died between now and 2027? Will be more than those who have turned 18 since 2020.
Anyway,
that's not what I was inferring.
I'll come back. Let's take, we do have a caller, Mohammed from Port Harcourt. Mohammed, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, Mohammed, please go ahead. Calling from Port Harcourt.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elijah Hassan Mohammed Ndaba. Good morning. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, please go ahead.
Go on.
The coalition party flagged by prominent Nigerians, ADC, it's a very big relief for Nigerians as a people because it pushes the balance and the checks and balances of power. Because as far as I know, the executive and legislative.
Oh, we lost that. We lost that there.
So just to respond to Wade, yes, my argument is this. There are real life issues. There are things that are affecting the lives of Nigerians at the moment. Some cannot even wait till 2027. Are we going to take a 2-year gap on governance and on holding politicians accountable because we are waiting to go to the ballot box? What real life issues, what advocacy can they do to force good governance and to have a more responsive government? That's my question.
Okay, so let me piggyback on what I said. One of the strongest advocacy is starting now to hand INEC and not 6 months before the election. And we want a voter's card. We want to know how we're going to vote in 2027. Are you with me? Mm-hmm. How do we? It is not just to wake up 2 months to the election and say we're distributing voters card and then we'll see 1 million voters card under the bridge. If you don't start early, like the politicians are doing, they started speaking about 2027 elections. We're just halfway in 2025. We, the populace, yes, we have a plethora of issues: economic, social, infrastructural. The only way we can make that change is when people hear our voices, when we all go out and stand for what we want. And standing for what you want is your voter's card and you ensuring that you speak to Nigerians that at least 60-70% of the Nigerian populace who registered to vote go and vote, protect their votes, and ensure that if you want a change, then you must start from me.
Fantastic.
Fantastic answers. But then again, I want us to go back to some of the critical issues there. Olive had mentioned the Mokwa flood. It seems like attention has shifted. Everyone is focused on the political issues, which is the coalition and so on. Whether we like it or not, Nigeria has turned out to become a very politically driven state. So far, so good in the past few years, since 2023. political conversations have increased so much, but that doesn't mean that we don't look at the natural disasters that have occurred. Okra flood, just with that header again, Nigerian Tribune, 500 confirmed dead. Remember that the numbers were a bit sketchy, we're going back and forth, but now there is a confirmation, over 600 still missing, so 600 persons cannot be found. I think the key area for me here is that possible disease outbreak is what that's being feared in the IDP camps. And it's about time for the Niger State governor to do something. I think that's a focus that we want to bring, especially here.
I don't think
on
he can
Breakfast Central.
I think one of the things he can do is first and foremost reach out to the federal government for a federal relief fund, which is what the standard would be. If you cannot,
but it has security.
Security votes are for this kind. This is
natural disaster.
This is natural disaster. Thank you. And for those kind of things, the federal government usually will assist considerably those states who are affected. But the other thing for me is that I was reading the Nigerian Climate Outlook, a document that was put together by, I can't remember the name of the organization, but it's all looking all doom and gloom. More heat wave, more flooding, less food production. But there are things that we can do, simple things that we can do to create those sustainable paths. How are we protecting our environment? Not just about how are we politically aware to ensure that by 2027 we believe in our minds and in our souls and in our bodies that those who will be elected into offices are those who are going to serve us, who are going to lead Nigerians as servants, and not lead Nigerians as I don't know the word for it. And those are the things that we need to do. Unfortunately, 500 people have died. This is it has become, it's becoming the norm. Instead of a natural disaster, it's becoming the norm because every year we go through this thing. Condolences to the families of those who have lost their loved ones. The 600 who are missing, I do pray and hope that we would be able to find all of them, but there are no guarantees for that.
And then how do we ensure that this doesn't happen again? Because we've already gotten into the rainy season and the potential of more floods happening. It's there. There have been warnings. NEMA has released warnings.
And it's by building the infrastructure, educating the people, maintaining those infrastructure, because the dams are going to start getting full, they're going to overflow. Sometimes you have to release waters for those dams into places that are susceptible to flooding. And these are the things that those agencies that are responsible, the governments of the states, local states, and one of the headlines that you put, the 117 local governments. I'm more an advocate of having more local governments than having more states, because that's where the grassroots are. How do you spread that message if you don't have enough people or enough communities being spoken to by those who lead them? So anyway, those are some of the things that we need to do.
Anyway, we've looked at that, but I've decided that we come to the drawing board while we're having the papers as well.
As our coach.
Let's go back to our main story today. I mean, since we have Uwade with us, don't mind us. It's what we've just turned as the Nigerian political league, because now we're starting to see a lot of people, MPL, a lot of people moving up and down, changing places. One question that we've seen out of the top questions we've had while we're discussing this is who will front for the ADC? We have too many names, too many juggernauts, too many political aspiring personalities. So from your take, who do you think it would be? Do you think it would be the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar coming back again? Or do you think 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi? So let's just put it there. Do we think it's Peter Obi? Do we think it's Vice President Atiku Abubakar? Let's just put it that way. Who do you think would be the perfect person? Don't forget that the first one...
The other heavyweights there, Rotimi Amechi.
I'm talking about the president now.
Yes,
the president. Okay, fine.
Rotimi Amechi, is not a name?
Okay. R.A.
Nasir El-Rufai.
President.
Yes.
Olive said,
NDR.
NR. Who do you think? We have four of them. One of them has already made a statement that if he's going to run, he will do one term only, although that's like a political statement. Because we know
No, but looking at the gentlemanly agreement and knowing that the APC is currently in a 4-year mandate, I think he would live by that agreement.
Okay, so vote.
I just mentioned to our online audience, our virtual audience, that you can go on YouTube as well to vote. I'm already on the YouTube link, New Central TV. I will take your comments.
Okay, so should we leave our audience to first vote so that...
No, I mean, just your thoughts. Feel free.
So
what's your thoughts? Who do you think?
I think my vote will be Peter Obi.
Okay.
Benga.
Looking at the present political climate and the gentlemanly agreement, that automatically cancels out the northern candidates there. So Elmi Council, Nasir Rufai, and Alhaji Atiku. So we're left with Rotimi Amici and Peter Obi. Looking at who garners more star support, who has popularity, and who has at the base, I would think Peter Obi.
Pio. So that everybody has...
okay, everyone has
so while you're doing that, I just want to go on YouTube and take a few comments.
Okay.
But this is in regard to the show so far. Earlier in the day, we started with the argument about education and should professors or engineers be able to repair the gen. Chigozie Nwachukwu says, professors of surgery don't teach only the theory, they also perform the act.
Thank you.
I guess it's the same thing for most health professionals.
Thank you.
I expect that engineers should be able to do some technical work.
you.
So this is him agreeing with Joe's argument and kicking against my...
my man.
No, wait, don't celebrate yet.
I see you. Thank you.
Calm down. We'll ask
let's go back. Let's not miss.
About politics. Anthony Obi says, all these people criticizing always, oh yeah, form your party and contest. No way, just talk. We are the good people in Nigeria, including civil servants, traditional rulers, religious leaders. Collins Okeboy says, the same those criminals, Yahoo politicians that destroyed Nigeria, coalition ADC. I don't think I quite understand that. And the final comment, Holy Michael says, the coalition is the best antidote to the rascality being perpetrated by the APC government in Nigeria today. So our next question to you is, who do you think will front the presidential leadership in the ADC? Drop your comments in the chat box and I'll read it out.
So I think 2 votes. Pio has 2 votes.
Yeah, he has my vote.
Oh, so 3. Okay, so that was 3.
And let's give reasons. So it's not like, because we are a political, right?
political.
The reason why we're choosing PO is because we're looking at the level of influence that he wielded in the last elections, especially because Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has also been, there have been lots of criticism as to why Alhaji Atiku Abubakar still has chosen to remain as the presidential candidate for the PDP. So we do not know that that's the level of support he's gotten, because he's tried twice under the PDP and it didn't seem to work out. I don't know that he will still be able to get that level of support with the ADC.
Okay, fine.
Rotimi Amechi, we don't know if Rotimi Amechi was in the running.
Well,
yeah, I don't know that
he's made strong statements too. But then again, we're seeing a lot of cross-carpeting. So I'm going to ask again. Let's go to cross-carpeting. Who else are we expecting to cross-carpet from the APC to one? We've seen Dele Momodu, Chief Dele Momodu has spoken
from the PDP.
Dino Melaya has moved. DM.
He's done that already. He's done that already.
Well, I can't make any suggestion. I think by today.
What about the former president? President Goodluck Jonathan.
No, he's a statesman. They don't do this sort of. I don't think they'll get it. They might give their blessings when we get closer to 2027.
He can give his own political blessing to a particular candidate. Like we saw former President Obasanjo do in 2023 when he gave his blessings to Pio. Cross-carpeting, it will be as it is now. We've seen Governor Oti of the Labour Party
saying he's not moving.
He's not moving to the APC.
No, he's not moving to the coalition.
Yes, and he's not forming anything with the APC, and he's not joining the APC. He remains the Labour Party member. So with this kind of things, so the next things are in terms of strategy, and that's where the transfer market is really, really interesting. It's interesting in that some players, you will not secure them. What you will do is that you will get their support towards funding.
You can loan them.
Well, you can loan them and pay for those loan services. Are you with me? They don't necessarily have to come and join your troop. But they will
like what the FCT minister is currently doing is on loan to the APC.
He's on loan to the
APC. So that brings me to the third one, current trend in the political
cross-carpeting, there's also a name that you left out.
Who's that?
Senator Ireti Kingibe FCT minister.
Okay, so we'll do IK.
FCT
It's getting hotter.
senator.
Okay, I mean, in the next few hours, we hear a number of them share.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be more announcements as to who and who are moving, because like Chief Dele Momodu said, the registrations are happening today.
So in other words, we're not voting because we're apolitical, right?
No, we're not voting.
We're not voting, but the question should be yes or no. Do we expect more people to move to the ADC?
Oh, yes.
Let's start with that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So we have
expect
3
more people.
yeses.
The first one is clear.
Who is left out that hasn't moved? So I
there are
don't
many.
know.
I'm sure we're just going to wait. There are many. There are a lot of politicians.
Let them register the party today, and then
yeah.
you might start to hear a number of other people. It's just a coalition as it is today, as I yesterday.
I mean, it's an already registered party platform, which is the ADC.
So it's
all they just need to do is to make
all
sure.
they need to do is,
is
put
the
their
forms
names up and fill out their forms.
Okay, let's quickly wrap this up. Finally, guys, current trend. Are we going to see it stay? And the trend is the one that simply sees a political card-carrying member who remains in his party but gives support to the ADC. Are we going to see an increase in that trend, or we're going to see, better still, a decrease in that trend? All of his thinking. You read about the senator, a sitting senator, who said if the FCT minister can do it, then he's going to do it. He will remain in his party, but he will give support to
so those are the loanees, like we explained. Those are the ones who are going to loan their support to whoever they decide to.
Is it going to be an increasing trend, or is it going to actually stop?
I think it will increase, but like we also said, based on Kayamu's statement, the APC is now going to go and re-strategize in terms of how they are going to strengthen
keep people in the party.
Defenses really need to be strong. They need a strong, according to American football, they need a strong tactical defensive coach.
So Benga, it would increase, or it would
It would increase.
I mean, as journalists, we're just looking at the...
has set the precedent. So, and for people like former President Goodluck Jonathan, he could give his blessing, but still remain in the PDP. So, it would increase.
All right, so increase 3. From all analysis here, I think we're going to... It's good that our viewers get to know that this is what we've analyzed, and in days to come, don't be surprised when you start seeing these changes metamorphose. Just know that we have broken it down here while we're looking at the story. But I think I'm just going to return back
and to wrap this up, Eluwa Izu votes for Peter Obi. Thank you very much for your vote. Although, I mean, you would have to probably join the coalition. Thank you so much, Joe, for that. And thank you to our viewers.
All of this is hypothetical.
Right, it's really hypothetical.
It's just hypothetical. Just looking at it.
Yeah, we're not endorsing anyone. In the next few days, we'll see what the next the next steps are. But as we wrap up today's show, we want to hold a thought for the Aborowers as they honor the life and times of their father, grandfather, Daddy Ronald. Great-grandfather, Daddy Ronald Oluwa Rotimi Aborowa.
Thank you very much.
It's been 1 year.
That's very thoughtful of you. And so many things have happened. Yeah, my life changed, and I'm sure he's in heaven now, smiling. He's become an ancestor. So thank you so much. Very thoughtful of you. But there's also some really terrible news that just broke a few minutes ago. Diogo Jota, the Liverpool striker, passed. It was in an accident with his brother.
You're kidding
And he just got married 5 days ago. So he passed on at 28.
Oh my.
Really sad story. Our hearts go to his family and loved ones. Terrible news. Terrible news.
This is sad. Oh my goodness.
May he so rest in peace.
Oh, what a sad way to end.
What a really sad way to end the show. But we have to go now. We extend our condolences to as many who will be mourning this very terrible loss. Even here in Nigeria, also to mention, we've experienced a monumental loss in the media space. Kayode Peters, who's one of the executive producers of Flatmate, has been a very key figure to contributing to Nigeria's entertainment space. He gave me my first chance in when I was on Flatmate. I featured in one of the episodes, and if you see the tributes that have been going up, it's people just telling how he gave them a first chance, how he saw people. And so today we just want to hold a candle for his family, everyone in Nollywood, everyone in the entertainment industry who's currently mourning the passing of Kayode Peters. His legacy will live on and his name will remain. This is how we wrap up the show today. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back again same time. I'm Olive Emodi.
I'm Joe Hansen.
And I'm Benga Borough. And is Wade.
Thank you so much.
And you are you. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.